won the post-game interview.
Who?
One of the Jits in the NBA.
That's funny.
He said, yeah, we had a lot of good.
It's my Cam from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yeah. He don't even know. He don't even know what that.
Man, they said the reporter who was reporting him was in the community. And he said, oh, the legal office is going to enjoy that one.
So he probably highlighted it. He probably sent it to him.
Oh, he highlighted it. Yeah, right on the spot when he said that. The legal office is going to enjoy that one. They said they should have said pause, man.
Yeah, but he not. That's why people who not from our culture like interviewing us and shit like they don't even understand because he not even thinking of it like
nah, yeah, he ain't. But they gonna take it like
that. Yeah, they gonna take it like that.
Apology, but I mean they have to find him. Ain't no choice. You know what I'm saying? They got no choice,
bro. This their rules.
Yeah. You gotta play the game.
Somebody gotta be the example. You the first.
But they still also have to know how different people's language is.
Right, like that's not
what we say might not mean what a bad thing to us, but it might mean something bad to somebody else.
When it comes to that community, ain't no understanding.
No, because it definitely mean that.
No
homo mean what it's supposed to mean.
Yeah, but he wasn't saying it derogatory way. He's saying like I'm saying they good looking, but I'm not attracted to them.
Right, I'm not.
Yeah.
But you can't say.
But it's still.
But that don't mean he's saying it's a bad thing.
No, he just saying it ain't for me.
Yeah, right.
And you can't get mad for something, but you can't.
He said in this moment, no homo.
Yeah,
like in this moment, I'm not saying that I'm attracted to this man,
he's not a
but
homo.
I'm saying
I didn't mean that as if I'm
in a homophobic man way.
But
Right.
if Lil Nas said I don't do the fish, bro, it wouldn't be no uproar. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like, I know that's right. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
It wouldn't be an uproar because straight women not gonna be like we're offended that he said he don't.
Because
he
don't
do.
But that's not. It's not a term for that though. Like no homo is a term that you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? It's
but fish is
like
a term for.
I get it that he got fine. I get it.
Like
But I
I'm
know
somebody
he
that
didn't
ain't
mean.
do nothing else, nothing more to him. You know what
Nah,
I mean? He got.
But you can just tell he was super joking.
You can't do nothing more though.
Spencer did when he was right next to him. They were like laughing. It was super childish.
Cut off for this.
But I'm about to tell you that.
They made an example about that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. For down the rookie contract,
Yeah,
Right?
that's gonna hurt him.
And remember when the White House was like, remember he was like, man, like he was being so green.
But that's what I'm saying. Different cultures, because a white culture might not know when they say I don't do fish. They might not know what they're talking about, but the black culture definitely know what you mean when you say it.
Right. But that's like it's like
So,
yeah.
Do your other side know? Do your white side know all the black terminology?
No,
black terminology know all the
But they
white.
think that me crazy.
No, I'm talking about
we don't
your
care.
side.
On my side, yeah, I do.
You know all of it.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, most black people don't care that you gay.
Nah, they kind of just don't care.
Yeah, it's like
man, shut up, bro.
We just want to crack jokes on you.
Yeah, we just gonna have fun with
Yeah,
it.
we want to crack jokes on everybody.
But that's not our culture.
Everybody did something stupid.
On everybody.
You just have to be gay. If you were fat, you would get the fat jokes. You feel me? Like if you were whatever, you would get the jokes, bro.
That's like somebody you grow up with come out and they come out as gay. You be like, man, we know you gay, man. Put the game back on. What's wrong with you, man?
Gays is privilege. They is. All of them should have
You bought Beyonce CDs from the store, man.
But you know what? The thing is, you can say they privileged, but what it is that they united.
They united.
Because they fight for everything.
Yeah, when it's time, even though they don't get along when it's time, they be like, hey, we stand as a community, and you're not gonna do that.
Yeah,
we don't do that.
If
We're
I
not
have
united like that.
If I have another legal issue,
It's not even like united.
Bitch, I'm
They
gay.
polarize. They argue with each other.
another legal issue, bitch, I'm gay. You hear me? Because I can't do it.
They come together.
I don't. You hear me?
They leverage their money. They leverage their words.
It's gonna give me less time.
Oh.
Cause
And that's like a fact because black people just don't want to stick together no matter what. We got to argue about everything, so they're not gonna stick together. Just like they be Ryan Cam Newton right now about his choice. Man, that man making so much money with his choice.
What his choice is?
you know, he decided not to play football. He's into fashion. And he works with all these male black fashions that, like, it's no name brand that everybody know, but they all in France and everything.
Yeah, that's dope, bro.
And then they have he got like a podcast, like they sit and
Yeah, I watch his podcast. I like,
man, that man know what he doing.
I like when you no longer need your money. When you say I no longer need your money, I like that.
Cause I'm looking at the day when they said they finally inducted Rondé Barber. This man done tried to get in there 3 times and y'all just not doing it. He should have been in there the first time. But Mike Allscott and all them was already in it. How?
Yeah.
His numbers been better than theirs forever.
ASAP.
Yeah, y'all, then you can't read too much more to see.
Whew. My father-in-law has a saying. Me and Dick Tracy. Everything happens to me and Dick Tracy.
And Wile E. Coyote.
And Wile E. Coyote.
Meaning what? Like every.
Like if it's gonna go wrong, it's gonna go wrong.
Oh.
Now see, we didn't really come up on Dick Tracy like he did, but Dick Tracy was always having problems.
Oh, okay.
He was somebody had him tied up somewhere on a train track or in a basement with a bomb to it, strapped on it. It's always something.
Yeah, he got how you gonna get out of there.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had one of those kind of mornings. He and I had one of those mornings today, just trying to get a microwave.
That's it.
Just trying to get a microwave. Something that should have took 15 minutes took 2.5 hours.
Hey, Dick is richer, huh?
Yes.
Why?
No, I do.
Oh, that's
Like, why is William Bill?
Yeah.
But I will.
Yeah.
You want things to make sense, Dad. And they're not gonna make sense.
Yeah.
My grandmother told me, and I try to hold on to it. She said, you're gonna want to know why a lot, son. And you're gonna want to know why a lot. And when it comes down to it, it ain't gonna, it's just stuff ain't gonna make sense. As long as you know that everything ain't gonna make sense, you're gonna be all right. Okay, we get to a late start, so we're gonna jump right in. For everybody who's tuning in, welcome once again to the Brotherhood, Manhood, Fatherhood Conversation Series edition of our February edition of the Conversation Before the Conversation. I'm going to try to say this more often because I think it sometimes gets lost. That this platform was created more than 7 years ago with the intention of providing an environment where men could talk. Specifically, the brothers could talk and sisters could hear what we have to say and benefit from what we share moving forward together in relationship. And I want to say that because sometimes, and we've all experienced this, where we could be talking about something and it seems like we're attacking sisters that we don't understand, and that's not what this platform is about. This platform is about us moving together toward one another. So, but the reality is, when you're trying to fix a problem, you actually got to talk about the goddamn problem. You can't fix it without actually dealing with it.
That's kind of like cleaning up, though, right? You got to make a mess to clean up a mess.
Yeah. And so now, and I think where platforms like ours, what can make it challenging for platforms like ours is what's happened. We started doing this in 2016, right? But since 2016, there's a new term that has been put into our lexicon and introduced into our lexicon now. It's called the manosphere. And there's some brothers out there with some platform. Well, no, there's some brothers and sisters out there with some platform as it relates to the manosphere that are not, well, I can't say what they're not doing because I'm not a mind reader. I can just say based upon what I'm witnessing, we don't have the same agenda, right? So it's not that I don't understand them. It's not that they have points of view or they present perspectives that I am necessarily in agreement with or in disagreement with. I just think that it gets the idea of us coming together can sometimes get lost when somebody says, well, what black women need to know, and I'm like, okay, now you might be, So and we're gonna get to talk about that when we talk about Jason Whitlock. So yeah. I mean, they doing what they're doing to, but and we would like to. No, let me say this better. We're growing as well, but our agenda is just different. So we may not get there when they get there, as fast as they get to where they're going. But I think once we are there, we will definitely last longer. So, so that being said, few rules of engagement, some banal. When we're saying whatever we're saying, we're outlining it. We're talking about what we're talking about. We're not talking about what we're not talking about. Some banal means some but not all. Because it's real easy, and I don't think we're gonna have that issue tonight, but it's real easy for someone to say, well, I know somebody who did so and so and so, like that one person that you know contradicts what we're talking about. It becomes a distraction of what we're talking about. So we're trying to lay the groundwork right now, lay the foundation right now by saying we're not talking about what we're not talking about. Some, but not all. Respect the mic, which we all tend to do. Oh, I forgot. There's hope in Ocoee. Our man Hope is running for city council in the city of Ocoee, District 1. So if we know anybody in Ocoee who may be in District 1, let's get them to vote for our man Hope. There's hope in Ocoee.
That's a good little.
Yeah, it is. It's a good slogan. There's hope in Ocoee.
My daughter, my oldest child, Antoinette, District 6, City of Los Angeles. She's running for city council. So big shout out to her. Anybody who out in that area, look up, see what she got going on, and hear what she has to say, and then vote for her. Let's see what else we got. Next weekend, I am one of the masters of ceremony for the Weekend of Greatness. The Weekend of Greatness was created by my sister, Renette Upson Bush. How you doing, sweetheart? Hope you're watching. And she has a program called Next Level Chicks. We're authoring. This is like her 4th book, and I'm authoring my 2nd with her, co-author with this one and a few other sisters. And this one's called Girl, Get Up and Move. You Are More Than a Conqueror. And the Weekend of Greatness is really about empowerment for sisters. So there's going to be some women coming from all over the country, and they're going to share their experience, their knowledge, and some information, and give some tools and strategies out for anybody out there, for the sisters out there who are looking to be great. Okay, so now that being said, our topic tonight: who is to blame for toxic black masculinity? Venturing into that, I want to. Oh, I apologize. Let me do this. The young brother Antoine Miles. I would like us to take just a few moments. I did not know Antoine. I know his mother. I did not know him, but I'm sure some of you guys are familiar with him, you may know, you gotta know who he is. We could just say something about him, because from what I'm seeing, there was a lot of energy, a lot of love for the brother and what he was doing in the community.
I mean, they brought me on the podcast.
Okay.
They brought me on the Little Black Book podcast. Shout out to the Little Black Book podcast. That squad over there, you know. I mean, he was just, for what I knew of him, I didn't know him as well as a lot of people, but what I knew of him, I had him on social medias. We was cordial, and he was just cool. He had a lot of respect. I had a lot of respect for him. It looked like he really found his niche, you know what I'm saying, with the promoting.
Right.
And you could just see the look in his, the light in his eyes, like he really was doing what he enjoyed doing.
Right.
And it was like people was gravitating to him. He had a magnetic personality, and it's always nice to see somebody like really just find their niche,
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things. Like when I heard about it, I was like, almost like I'm hoping it's a car accident or something, because I'm like, this guy is not known for, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
like starting anything or anything like that, and he crashed on the way home or something like that, and then when it came out that it was something, of a violent nature, it was just makes it very, very even more to a different level of tragic. But just nothing but respect for him. I known his mom before I knew him up here at the shop.
Right.
And much love and respect goes out to his family, his children. He got one on the way. And I mean, it's tragic. He's gone too soon, but he left some good footprints and a lot of imprint on a lot of people with just a beautiful smile, you know what I'm saying, and just a cool dude. So that's what I could say, man. Long live Twan, man. Energy, it never dies.
Yeah, so like I said, I didn't know him, right? But when we pulled that group together to put on that Juneteenth festival, the first annual, or the inaugural Juneteenth festival, Central Florida Juneteenth festival, his mom was on that committee, and she was essential in making that thing work the way it worked. We formed a friendship. She has actually sat as a guest on the conversation for the conversation, and I think she's just she's a fantastic lady. From what I can see, when she talks, when she communicates, she's a straight shooter. She talked all the time about her children. When I saw it, I hurt for her, right? Because I have 6 children, 5 grandchildren. That's something I can't imagine. I can't imagine trying to deal with something like that.
I met him as Derek. I met him before I knew that. I think at the time he was making music, but I didn't meet him doing music. And I met him as Derek. I think at that time he had like 2 kids. And so when I met him at that time, he loved his kids, and he loved women, but he also wanted to be loved. And he just was a genuine guy. He was charismatic. He just had a charisma about him when I met him. And met his mom. He invited me to his house one time him and his mom was putting together. Even back then, this is 10 years ago. His mom was putting together like a give back kind of thing around the Orlando time. And so I went to his house, met his mom. And so throughout those 10 years of him making music, and then he stopped making music, and he just was kind of just like a socialite person that people knew. Mm-hmm. And then he turned that into a business recently in the past 4 years and turned that to a business. And it fit him because he's charismatic. He's somebody that if you meet him, you like him. And I think that's the general consensus, that if you meet him, you like him. You know, he had a certain charisma. He was very genuine. It's just unfortunate that things got to be this way. Unfortunately, you know.
Okay, Tawana, we praying for you, sis. We praying for you. You and the rest of the family. Okay,
They had his weight, his viewing today.
today?
Yeah.
Services tomorrow?
Yeah. I don't do those kind of things, but people who do, like, they will be putting him to rest.
Okay, our next segment is damn, god damn. Damn, Ed Reed. He showed up. He showed out. They kicked him out.
He got shown out. He showed out and got shown out the door.
You know, so, all right, so I was looking forward to having this conversation with Bubba. I actually, I came close to calling you and said, let me come on tonight when you do your show, right? Because I knew that you didn't like, well, I apologize. Let me say this better. I was confident that you were not going to be pleased with what he did in terms of shining this light on your alma mater. So, and then I listened to your show and I was correct. You had some issues with the way he moved.
Right.
Right? Now, I was looking at it like, okay, if you know anything about football, after what Deion Sanders had just did at Jackson State, and there's something to say about that, but after what Deion did at Jackson State, Ed Reed coming to Cookman, I thought, okay, here's an opportunity for that to happen again, right? Because he is who he is, and right away, you know, the connection was there. You know, he was clearing away fields, but his passion. He got on social media before he had a contract.
All while saying he don't do social media.
Right? He was a little extra. But I still, so I get what happened, right? But for me, the different stories. So, Roland Martin doing what Roland Martin does. He was all over that thing.
Shout out to Roland Martin.
he was all over that thing.
All over.
But he was all over that thing.
He's all over in it. He traveled to Daytona. He cashed out every ounce of penny he could get out of that situation.
He closed that thing, right?
Yeah, became a part of it.
It's the Roland Martin story now. He's still talking about it. So, but I did listen to the interviews. So, and what I saw was the administration said one thing, and the students and the football players said another thing. So it really looked like the administration was just lying. So I get that this whole thing don't look right, but if we're really concerned about the students, why not work that out? because Jason pointed out when Jason and I were talking about it, and Jason, Mr. Compassionate, Jason said, yeah, they could have really easily had spun that thing and said, you know what, Mr. Reed is a very passionate man, and we can use that passion to help build our program. They could have spun it.
Yeah, my passion can't let you go on any further. So, I'm burning over here. I'm sweating, my hands sweating.
Let it out. Let it out, bro.
No, but listen, okay, so there was some good that came out of this entire situation, which was that the national media shined the light that things are not was not going as smoothly as it should have been at Bethune, right? But the administration was not just, they were telling us there was a lot of truth to what they're saying. And you can't spin what Ed Reed did, because Ed Reed and Dion are two completely different people, right? So I understand when you hire Ed Reed, I had the optimism, okay, he's going to do some or similar things that Dion did for that school, right? When he's coming in. But you can't come into any organization, to any job, to anything, and before you even sign a contract.
Yeah, whistleblower.
Yeah, but not even a whistleblower. It's just about your cursing.
It's whistleblowing.
Yeah, I didn't know.
It was whistleblowing for sure.
But listen, yes, it was. But that's not the issue here. The issue is you're on social media, pretty much being a buffoon. You're doing all this, and the thing is, so the things he's complaining about were like issues Bethune and Daytona have been dealing with for months. So the first thing is, okay, you had no idea this was going on before you took the job. Number one, you didn't visit the campus before you took the job. Number two, all of which coaches do all over the United States of America before they take a job. They know what they get into and they visit the campus beforehand. Daytona had just went through 2 really bad hurricanes. You know what I mean? That's the reason that the school and the campus is in the condition that it was in, back to back.
It's not true.
That is very true. At a school that's already struggling, and it's already a poor neighborhood. You know what I mean? So that's hard to recover from. Yes, yeah, I know that 100%.
Yeah, he definitely didn't.
Before he accepted the position, and that's the thing. So when you're there and he doesn't have that knowledge and he's going off. Well, anybody, like, if you do that at a regular job, if you do that at Dollar Tree, and you on live and you saying, look at all these boxes back there, F this and that, what is y'all efforts doing? I came from the Dollar Tree in Oklahoma, we ain't have none of this. You know what I'm saying? And you doing all that, all while you got booty butt cheeks in the background and breast this and that, all that going on.
You don't like that song?
and then you don't make one, not 2, not 3. You make 4, 5 videos like this over the course of a couple of days.
Yeah, he gotta go.
All of them. He's not doing that at a white institution. That's my biggest issue with him. But he's doing that at Bethune.
But would a PWI look like that?
No, it wouldn't.
But PWIs have issues.
But let me.
They won't allow housing to be like that because there's lawsuits.
That's inhumane. Like let me. Okay, by the way, I was on. When Bubba talked about this, I was on his podcast. So shout out to On the Bench with Bubba and P. Find it on YouTube. But
white institution.
Black people, we have this thing where what happens in our house stays in this house. We have that mentality because we can say like, "Oh, he wouldn't do that to PWI would not have inhumane living conditions."
He was not complaining about inhumane living conditions on his live IG videos.
Okay,
that's why Bethune snatched that contract away from
him. Let's stick to what he was complaining about.
Yes,
because it was a part of the whole portion. He was speaking about the part that he has already witnessed. But yes, number one, he's not going into Dollar Tree and becoming the manager of Dollar Tree. He's coming over to run a program, and when he gets to that program, his office is not even hospitable. He's not able to even to sit down and start the work.
Okay,
So
can I intervene?
Let
Can I intervene? Real quick, just about the office, because you about to go to a different point, right?
Okay.
Are you still on the office?
Go ahead.
That wasn't his office. He didn't have an office.
Yeah.
We were like reconstructing that entire building.
Yeah, but
that's to my point. Call your boss before you go IG Live. Hey, sir. This building, I think this is my office. It looks a mess here. The field is trash everywhere here. Why is it like this? Why don't you do that first?
That's fair. And I respect people saying that he should have handled it a different way. But the problem is that's not people's argument. People's argument is that he said anything about it. When in reality, when Deion said, and of course, to be clear, Deion Sanders and Ed Reed are two different personalities, and they bring something totally different to that job description. Deion is a master marketer. That's something different. So if they're hiring him to be Deion, and they failed in that because he's not Deion. Mm-hmm. That's number one. Number two, of course he could have chose a different route about it. But even with Deion, who white people love and black people love, when he went to a better situation, but it was still poor, still terrible. When he left after he had given more than he was obligated to give, he got shitted on by the community of people that look like us. So if I see that if they crucify Deion and I'm Ed Reed, I'm gonna say, okay, I want y'all to know what I'm dealing with before I even start. So if I decide to leave or I elevate to something different, I want y'all to know what I was up against from the beginning. Because if Deion will be crucified, then they gonna for sure roast my black ass.
But that's not. Regardless if that's how you feel, you can't come off that way.
Yeah, no, I was messy.
You just can't. So but that's the reason why he doesn't have a job.
That's fine. But he didn't need a Bethune-Cookman job.
Yes, he did.
He didn't.
He did.
He's Ed Reed.
Ed Reed been wanting to coach now for 10 plus years. His only interviews for a head coach. First of all, he lied on Roland Martin. He just told a straight, bold-faced lie saying that Jackson State, that he accepted Bethune-Cookman and declined Jackson State and Grambling. Like, those are two bold-faced lies that he told on national TV. Like that was just crazy.
How you know they were lies?
Because, but first of all, because Deion said that he told his team and everybody and Shannon Sharp that he recommended the assistant to be the head coach. Ed Reed said Deion recommended me to be the head coach of Jackson State.
I didn't know he didn't do that before he turned it down.
You're right there. So but either Deion line or Ed Reed line.
I mean, or
I'm just going off of past transgressions. It's probably easy to say as Ed Reed line. And also, if Jackson State offers you a position and Bethune offers you a position, that's not, this is not whatever obtuse math we're talking about. You're just taking the Jackson State job. They're in a much better position. They just came off 2 championships. Right. You have all these players that decided to stay. Not all the players left and go to Deion. They still have 4 stars that remain and stayed on that team. You're taking the Jackson State team. He wasn't offered that job.
But let me.
That's not concrete though.
Yeah,
that's concrete.
But
I'm gonna tell you also why it's concrete. I'm gonna tell you also why it's concrete.
No, that's like an assumption.
He would not.
Yeah, it's your passion is speaking.
No, it's not an assumption.
It is.
You didn't have proof of that. Man.
You have no concrete evidence.
All I have is Deion standing on 2 different platforms that he recommended his.
Well, no, not that part. You just
coach.
said he didn't take the job. That he would have took the Jackson State job.
He wasn't offered it. That's my point.
I mean,
not that he didn't.
But I get all of that. But you just assume that's still an assumption. You just what your reason for it was an assumption.
Okay.
So you got to get more concrete, man. That was kind of.
Judge, Your Honor, take the last 30 seconds out of my argument here, and I'm gonna just put it like this: Ed Reed will not be a head coach. Ever. Okay, and I told you that ever. So Bethune-Cookman is going to continue.
Let's remove Ed Reed from it, because this is my thing about it. Why do we accept mediocrity from these organizations, from our HBC organizations? Because we should demand that we have better donors. demand that our campus has better standards for cleanliness and living conditions.
The back hurricanes. They sent kids
home. But hold on. The hurricane was 8 months ago.
They sent the kids.
The hurricane was 8 months ago.
And Bethune, they received $100 million.
I know some people went to Bethune and they said they had more when they were there.
And what years was this?
Everybody that I know who went to Bethune says the same exact thing.
I'm talking about niggas graduated, got to be like 15 years ago, maybe. For real though.
Bro, Inhumane.
I toured Bethune.
I've seen other small schools. They be kind of
inhumane living conditions for 20, 30 plus years at a college institution. That's not happening. Why
not?
There's a reason.
Why? The problem is, the whole point is that it has been that way.
But hold on. But did the news tell y'all that Bethune built 2 brand new dorms over the last 2 years? They didn't tell y'all that, did it? They didn't tell y'all that they spent over $1 million revamping like the
before
quad.
that. How much?
And that was just a year ago. That was just 2 years ago. We in 2023. That was in 2021. They put up those 2 brand new dorms. What I'm saying is they're not just sitting back taking money.
I feel you, but I've been to some black colleges, and I've been to some white colleges, and I didn't attend no college. I just visited campuses. And there is a drastic difference, though. You have to admit that.
There is.
Now, I'm not saying it justifies anything, right, but it definitely, I've seen a dorm where
funding.
It's all about state and local funding.
Yeah, it is funny. But I've seen a dorm where I wouldn't go in there.
Yeah, that's what Jeremy just said. We should demand.
We should demand more. We should demand more. We have this thing where it's like,
who is we?
The people who are complaining. You know why PWIs have better funding. Now it is some passed down stuff. Don't get me wrong, right. But at the
they understand process,
right? But they do understand process. They do take pride in their campus because I can speak for all of us on this panel. We come from meager beginnings, so we know that if we ain't gonna get nothing new next year, we gonna take care of the shit we got this year.
And this is another thing. Bethune-Cookman is a single case. Like there are a ton of historical black colleges that are in great shape. FAMU facilities are immaculate. Like there, I can name 20 off the top of my head, man. South Carolina State, all of them.
But you know why though? You know why though?
It's a singular case.
Because
they're a reason for it.
Their graduates reinvest.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is y'all. I mean, not y'all, but people have this thing where you're saying HBCUs. When there's only 1 to 2 or 3 that's having
it's not 1 to 2. It's half and half. It's half and half.
It's not half and half.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. First of all, that's come on, y'all tap in. You just told me. Y'all said Ed Reed was that. You said that was great. You can't. There's no way you can say there's half. That's crazy. That's a crazy statement.
So most
HBCUs have great facilities and are in great shape. Yes, the vast majority.
So
Howard is like
you
come on, man.
You naming the
Michael
Jordan of HBCUs. Howard. Of course Howard is great. Of course FAMU is great.
I named 5 before.
Yeah, but FAMU has alumni that are rich and famous, and they
a lot of us do. A lot of us do.
Okay.
Does.
So why is the campus shit?
Because it's 2 back-to-back hurricanes. Do you go to Bethune Grill?
Yes.
That's not on Bethune-Cookman campus.
Yeah,
Bethune Grill area is messed up too.
I go to Daytona all the time.
If you
sometimes not by my choice.
Separate 10 minutes of the poor part of Daytona and the rich part of Daytona. They look completely different. There is a reason for that.
Right. A part of it is funding, and a part of it
every city.
A part of it is funding, and a part of it is not holding yourself to a standard. So what was fucked up about that is when the higher ups were saying like, what would Mary McLeod Bethune think? What would she think about y'all treating her campus like a fucking toilet? She wouldn't like that either.
They're fixing.
How long they gonna fix it?
It takes time, dog.
So a little bit of what I'm hearing is like Bill Burr said that he blames the feminists for the WNBA attendance. So we need to blame ourselves for.
He owns something with that too.
Reed of pocket though. Ed Reed was out of pocket though. He was all the way
He
out of
was
pocket.
out of pocket. He
He
was a whistleblower. That was.
Yeah. No, he
You
was.
just got to jail. You just got here, bro.
But two things can be true. He was out of pocket, but he wasn't wrong.
Internally. He wasn't wrong though.
Okay.
But you do got to
But
handle
but
things internally when you work
like
for a
what
company.
we teach in the mentoring
It's like a
program,
hierarchy.
situational awareness. You got to know in this situation you want to be professional. You can launch an initiative to get all these things accomplished, but going online, that's like I made an analogy. That's like you with your girl or whatever, and y'all get into it, and she go online and show some of your drawers with the streak center or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And be like, oh,
Yeah,
he want
completely embarrassing.
he want to flex online with y'all, but
And then call it love.
like, dog, we gotta
I
break
love
up,
his
bro.
dirty
Hey, but that's a great example because I don't date women like that.
Girls who go for the juggler.
So you probably shouldn't have courted Ed Reed if you didn't know what Ed Reed
But see,
was.
his passion. But see, this why I said it's situational awareness on Ed Reed part, because it's like, yeah, we hiring you for your passion. So on the sideline and in the locker room with them boys, that energy is completely condoned and celebrated.
Yeah.
But now you took that passion
And pointed at them.
yeah, you did something unprofessional.
But
right.
Because you wanted to get in your heart, yeah, you do
Yeah,
want this
wow.
to be done for the students and for the campus, but how you went about it is completely wrong.
but that's the problem though. They both went into it. They saw each other at the bar and they looked good and they got married the next day. That's what happened.
But another thing is,
They eloped.
They had beer goggles on. They had beer goggles on.
what also made me mad, and I almost got into it, almost went into it when I first started talking about, also what made me mad is, like, yes, that's it, but where's the passion at when these white schools who take advantage of your image and likeness make all these millions of dollars? University of Miami made so much money off Ed Reed and that team, off their image and likeness, how they was destroying the game for that length of time. Ed Reed can't even get an interview. University of Miami Hurricanes been trashed for 20 years now.
He had a job at Miami.
Man, interns get that position that Ed Reed had.
$1 million job.
Interns.
$1 million job.
Interns, dog.
He had $1 million job at Miami. And he came to Bethune to his shit office. If I leave $1 million job to better
he wasn't even a coordinator.
but he was getting $1 million. I sweep the floor for $1 million.
He wasn't even a linebackers coach. He wasn't even the assistant to an assistant linebackers coach at the University of Miami.
Which is crazy.
He could not get an
Hall of
interview
Fame
at
safety.
any PWI. At Hall of Fame safety, Deion Sanders couldn't, Ed Reed couldn't, Eddie George couldn't. All these guys, man, Heisman candidates, Hall of Fame candidates, they have to come to HBCUs to get coaching experience. They have to. These guys are not going to handle it. But otherwise, these white coaches who have no coaching experience, who never been a coordinator, never been in the Hall of Fame, they get interviews and coaching jobs like this. Why are you guys not on social media cussing and fussing with the booties and butt cheeks in the background talking about that?
Because they arms too short.
Why?
The box was
Yeah,
down.
Why? That's a bigger deal.
They arms too short. The box was down, man. They know it's
That's a bigger deal than Bethune with some trash in your office.
Hey,
They gonna lean on you,
but
boy.
Bubba, what you saying is 100% correct. But at the same time, whenever we that's kind of like when you say police brutality, you be like, well, y'all kill each other. It's like that's not what we talking about.
Yeah.
We talking about.
I'm talking about.
I'm
I'm talking about.
Okay, but we
That's important though. Not just for Ed because I don't like
they
both.
they're both important. So it's like if I come to a bullshit facility and nobody's taking pride in it. Okay, y'all had a hurricane. Okay, y'all had 2 hurricanes 8 months ago. Okay, even I'll let you have that.
You wouldn't have went live doing that though.
I wouldn't, but y'all hire Ed Reed.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Ed Reed would.
Very passionate. Very passionate.
So if you married a motherfucker at the bar, this is what you get. He may hit you sometime.
But look, so this is what happened. So they said, we regret the informed.
And let me tell you this: the rapper Bo,
We get to know me.
the rapper Bo on it. Bethune has hired the best case scenario head coach in Woody. He's a great coach who has a ton of coaching experience. Coached at Florida State, coached at FAU. He won Recruiter of the Year twice in the PAC.
But this what people
Look
don't
what it
understand.
took for him to get the shot.
This is what people don't understand.
Yeah.
This is what people don't understand though. They need Money. It don't matter if you can coach football. It matters if you won a Super Bowl and you Ed Reed.
That's why you get the popularity. Yeah, the popularity.
Yes, it is true.
No.
They need the money.
This is a valid point. It's a valid point.
That's a valid point at the University of Florida.
No, at Bethune. Florida can hire a good coach and win games.
This is HBC.
They need
football.
the funding, the
We
money.
talking about a Hall of Fame. We talking about a Hall of Fame safety though.
Yes, they need people in the
He
seat.
can generate more funding than you boy.
Why you think he got him?
How much money Jackson? How much money?
But why he
Jackson?
got the
A lot,
shot
right?
before Woody?
Huh?
Why did he get the shot before Woody?
Popularity.
Do you think it was because he's a great coach?
Hold on. If Ed Reed came in with a good personality and he could, and we thought he could be a leader of,
No, they hired him to be Ed
Hold
Reed.
on.
They hired him to be Ed Reed.
More money, Bubba.
You think Ed Reed went in there with a cardigan and said, "Hey, I think
if he came in with that type of temperament, then yes, I prefer Ed Reed because of what he can bring and all of that. And then on the back end,
No,
we'll
you
find out
saying
if
you.
he can coach
You're
or
saying
not.
you.
Yeah.
I'm just
no,
saying.
hear me out. I'm saying, do you think the school
the school
cared
too.
about him
No.
being a good coach or about his notoriety?
yeah, it's business."
That's what they're saying.
man.
It was
I'm
about
telling
that.
you that. I said we'll find out if he can coach later. I'm giving you that. I'm giving you that. But you have first, before even what you can bring into the school, you have to represent the school in a good light. That always comes first.
Oh, well, we agree with
head
that.
coaching
Yeah,
job.
no, don't get.
We agree with
Is
that.
what you
but-
can bring.
No,
us.
no,
That's
no,
what they learn.
Nobody disagreeing with.
Yeah, they chose him.
We're not even disagreeing with what he did.
Because I was all in on Ed.
Yeah.
You can go to YouTube when they first hired him. Like, yeah, we got Ed.
But
we've been a
But
deal on this thing.
it is important that
And next week.
we're clear that it ain't about if he can coach or how good he can coach. It's about bringing money.
That comes
into
last. But in HBCU football, that's not a guaranteed thing. Jackson State lost. They won the SWAC, the conference. But Dion never won the championship.
Yeah, but he brought money.
all that money he bought, right?
That's
all these other schools.
That's they don't care about no fucking championship.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Come on, man.
Yes, we do.
Bubba.
Because Jackson State's still behind. They
Come
still
on.
behind other HBCUs money.
Love ain't enough, Bubba. I want you to know that.
Charles Carr chimed in. Ed Reed has the ability to get more resources.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we don't know if he can win games.
Who gives a fuck?
We do.
They don't.
No, they didn't.
They
All
don't.
the resources you bring in, you lose the FAMU twice, you out of there.
Yo,
you
no.
are out of there.
Guess what?
Yes.
Ed Reed ain't never coached a Little League.
I know.
You know, so
Yeah,
they hired
so what
him.
are you
If he
talking
comes
about?
in, if he comes
They
in,
didn't hire him for his
and
experience.
we get a brand new stadium
They hired
on
him
the
'cause he's
field,
like a
and we
NFL
get
player.
all new uniforms, Nike, Jordan.
Yeah.
You lose the FAMU twice, you're out of there, son.
Not if you
you're
brought,
out of there.
not if you
Yes.
brought in 80
Yeah,
million.
but
Not if you brought in 80
But
million.
wait. Okay, but that's projecting down the line. Right now,
Yeah.
this man is notoriety. The players, he's a Hall of Fame guy. They can go on YouTube and watch this guy make amazing play after play after play after
Yeah.
play. And this guy has Hall of Fame people, millionaire people, rappers, everything.
And
it's gonna change
they
the
gonna come to
attitude.
your school.
Let me give you a
It's gonna change the
comparison.
attitude
Can I
of
give you
the
a quick
program,
comparison,
bro.
Can I give you a quick comparison? Eddie George, he's a Hall of Fame player.
Shout out to Eddie George.
Okay,
He's in
they're
Tennessee.
struggling. They haven't won over 4 games in the season.
Yeah, but Eddie
still
George
got
ain't
the
never
job.
have no swag, bro. Eddie George has just been a workhorse.
But I'll say
Eddie
this
George
too, though.
ain't
That's
have-
the point. He still got the job. He ain't won
Right.
shit. He hasn't proved nothing. He
That-
still got the job only because he's an NFL player.
That's the whole point.
It's the notoriety.
That's
so
the whole
that's
point.
What, that's all they're saying.
And he's still getting
That's why
sponsored.
he even got the
And-
job.
and
It wasn't
they
about
not
experience.
winning. They not better. But he brought professional ex-NFL players to be a wide receiver
Yeah, all
coach
of that.
for pennies, for $12,000 a year, and he
It
gonna
doesn't
get.
mean it's gonna work.
But it doesn't matter if it works.
Yes,
That's
it
the
does.
point.
They don't care.
Yeah, but that's the
That's
point. They
down
gave
the
him a
line,
job
bro.
thinking
We're talking
maybe this
about,
will
yeah,
work.
And Eddie is
now.
down the line.
Right now,
Eddie down the line.
I think all of them though. That's the only reason y'all looked
Yeah.
at Ed Reed.
Right.
Y'all didn't look at him because you know he coached good.
It's like when you marry that bad.
Yeah,
chick,
they
you
only
know
looked
what
at
I'm
him
saying?
because he's famous.
And,
Right
and
now.
then you realize she can't cook, she can't fuck.
And you like,
she can't do
we
nothing.
can't use you.
And then we get rid of him.
Yeah, but
We on the same page.
yeah, so that's the whole
I
thing.
was good with Ed Reed. I think we on the same page.
But when you have to give that chick half your money, it's your fault
Yeah.
because you didn't do the research.
That's fine. Now she got to find another husband, which she might never find.
That's
one.
fine, but she got half your money. You making good money now, Bubba.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So she gonna drive off with the kids.
Yeah, you
That's
gotta
the risk of
change the
doing
carpet.
business.
There you go.
They did the right thing, in my opinion. You got to go, bro.
Yeah, both
Okay.
sides did, you know.
Okay.
We thought he was helping the students, man. He just was too radical.
Yeah, I stand with Ed Reed.
I'll go with that.
I don't even think. I feel like he just got in his feelings, bro.
Yeah, he did.
Just went online. You know what I'm saying? Like that happens now. Like
See, that was kind of where I
Started too early that day.
Yeah, when I
He was wild.
He was on,
He just started working here, bro.
and he was on the cognac for real. That was
good for
good.
you.
I done got in my feelings and made a post. You know what I'm saying?
And, man, everybody was excited for Cookman. I was like, Cookman gonna start doing it now,
Yeah.
bro.
He was
He start doing something else.
But see, like me, I'm not knowing if when I saw that, I'm not knowing if they gonna win. But I know that it's getting the people excited.
Yeah, because you don't even
Right.
care. You don't even
I'm
care.
not knowing if they gonna win. Yeah, I'm not knowing what Ed Reed can do, but I'm knowing right now.
Yeah, the atmosphere is gonna
Energy,
change.
Yeah,
the energy,
it's gonna change the attitude around. Y'all really got one of the greatest safeties to ever play the game.
Yeah.
Walking around campus, bro. Like
Right. 'Cause
I mean, their defense gonna be fine.
I mean, because the truth is,
champion on every level.
the truth is that the SWAC and just HBCU football, they looking at that as like a lower level football league anyway. So like if you win, great. If you don't win, great. But Ed Reed brought Lil Wayne. That's how they looking at it. So even though you looking at it as an alumni, they looking at it as a business.
Yeah.
And so they might feed you that bullshit about what would Mary McClellan do think?
That's
But
about numbers.
But if they bring in 20 million and they haven't brought in 20 million in 20 years, then Ed Reed's gonna be working the next year.
Cause we in that time of social media and NIL and bro, that stuff is so important right now.
So Charles Carr had another comment.
last year.
Ed Reed only fault was how he handled it online.
For sure.
But the leadership at BCU should be embarrassed about how they conducted themselves. We have too many people in leadership positions who aren't there to lead people properly.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Ed Reed showed out for a moment.
Hey, man.
According to the report, the school has been showing out for a little while.
He put them on blast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
bro? We supposed to be on the same team. How you gonna put us on blast like that?
Yeah.
You gotta go.
Okay, so damn Ed Reed. Damn Jason Whitlock. So Jason Whitlock, why?
I stand with Jay.
Yeah, always willing. Yeah.
Jason Whitlock, why?
He kind of shifted over the course of the couple
Yeah,
of years.
Yeah. I thought, you know, when
He kind of woke
he was
us up.
he was in support of he actually said some things in favor of Kyrie and
Yeah,
Kanye. I was like,
yeah.
wait a minute, that Jason Whitlock
That's
talking?
what I'm saying.
And then he came out and he blamed. Let me be careful about how I present it.
Yeah, just present it.
Jason Whitlock spoke in a way that the vast majority of people listening to him were able to interpret what he said as it was black. It's the single black mother's fault that those police officers killed that young man.
That's not what he was saying.
That's the
Though.
hottest take.
That's not what he was saying. though.
Tyree Nichols.
Ooh,
Tyree
that's
Nichols.
deep.
That's not what he was
You
saying.
didn't
Though.
see it?
What he was saying?
That's a lot of red bull.
okay.
That boy,
Yeah, I know.
that boy been up.
You gonna be up for 4 days. You're not going to sleep tonight.
All week. But that's not what he was saying though. And what he was saying is, and I say this often because to raise a child, it is required that you have a mother and a father. So it wasn't an attack on black women; it was an attack on motherhood. It's saying that because for whatever reason, the circumstances have presented themselves where a lot of kids are being raised by single mothers, especially little boys. And so a lot of our issues, especially with little boys or little black boys that become black men, because they only been raised by a female parental unit.
Mm-hmm.
And so like a lot of things that we consider like feminine or masculine is like it's deeper. Like it's if you don't have like emotional intelligence or you only think in your emotional energy,
Mm-hmm.
you may react in a certain way that's if you were raised by both your mother and your father, you have a bit more balance.
Balance. Right.
So like it came out funny, and the internet will do that where they will gaslight you and say, well, he's attacking black women. Well, he really wasn't attacking black women. He was saying that you need a mother and a father.
That's a dangerous place, though.
Yeah,
Was that quite different?
Everything's dangerous on the internet.
Yeah,
You know?
but see, because like, so
Yeah.
when I heard it, I did one of those
Cringe a little bit.
because, okay, this is not me talking. I'm talking about what the numbers say. And the numbers say that black boys raised in a single parent household led by a woman graduated, the percentage is high. So there's a high percentage of these young men graduating high school with a fourth grade reading level. That percentage is near the same with the number of young men being incarcerated, right? So now, when you match that number against the numbers of a two-parent household, right? That those children, that percentage is low, right? This surprised me. Children in a single-parent household led by a father, that number is right there with the number of children being raised in a two-parent household. So when Jason Whitlock said what he said, and what's wild is this is like the magic of the way the world works. Maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I had my hand on that information because somebody said something. I said, let me look at these numbers. Right, so I had my hands on the numbers and I looked at it briefly, and then I just kind of tucked it away, thinking, it'll be something we can use later in the conversation. And then Jason Whitlock said that. So what he said made me go like, because he wasn't necessarily wrong with what he said, because the numbers say that he's right. Now, I've been saying for years that the reason we do the conversation before the conversation, right, is so that black men and black women can move forward to each other to be together. The whole purpose of us doing this is so that we can be together. So I want to say that before I say this, because I don't want to get beat up. Right. I've been saying for years that when you have a young man who's growing up in a household led by his mama, and she's doing all that she needs to do to make sure the lights are on, food's on the table, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? I've witnessed women who are, that's like sprinting all the time, right? It's going to wear on you.
Yeah, hence the term tired.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? It's going to wear on you. So now, and this is personal experience. I watch the women in my life when they're tired. When they're tired, they become emotional. So me trying to have a conversation with my wife when she's tired and she's emotional, we not finna go nowhere. Right? We not finna go nowhere. So now when you got neighborhoods of single moms raising children under those conditions, it stands to reason that the young man can grow up being the male version of his mom.
Right.
Right? So now he's out and he'll handle something in an emotional way. So not having that balance, because what's wild is, we're dads, right? Well, not you. We're dads.
Well,
right?
we don't know if he is that.
The reports are still out. So we know what it's like to parent and watch the mother of our child say something to him, and then we can say, okay, yeah, no. And then say the other thing.
You might have to repair it.
Right. Because balance has to be established.
Hold on.
Right. Balance has to be established. Wait a minute. Why would you do that? Why did you say that?
But also it's important that on the flip side, Because there's been situations where I'm talking to my son and then the immediate thing that I say when I first see him is like a criticism, and then his mom or my woman will be like, hey, "You realize you didn't say hello." So it's important that it's a balance,
Right.
Yeah.
So like it's important that you have a mother.
Both
And
sides
a
gotta
father.
be like, hold up.
And so I
Show
think
you what
I think
you
it's like
had.
when Whitlock said that, he said it in a way where it was like triggering to a woman. They like, well, you attacking black women. He's like, no, he's attacking the fact that their black family is
It's not together,
desolate.
but he only said
Right.
but he only said single black
Right.
mothers.
Yeah.
So
He did the Ed Reed. He really should have like handled it internally first.
right.
Same thing.
But it
was his verbiage too, like the way he worded it.
Right.
But like the way he worded it, yeah, he did come at black women on national television
Right.
as a black man, putting a black woman down
Right.
again.
on Fox.
Right.
On Fox, my nigga.
And
Like on cue. Do it! And he fucked them up. You know what I'm saying?
But I think him doing that is like on purpose because if he goes.
If he goes, they keep dividing our family.
Yeah, they breaking up our
like,
family.
cut!
They gonna cut that shit off.
Everything gonna be
Yeah, so like if they just be like, they did that because they got a broken family, they gonna be like, what are you talking about? Cut. But if he says it's because they raised by their moms, people gonna be like, what do you mean? A mom can't raise? It's like the reality is no.
I got calls
Single
and I
moms
got
of the
calls
world.
and from sisters I hadn't heard from in a long time. Pissed at. Did you hear what he said? What you? I'm like, yeah, I heard.
But it's like
What you think
want
about
him
what he
dead.
said? You
Yeah.
don't want to know what I think about what he said.
Yeah, because
They want him dead.
it's like did you hear what he said?
Right.
That's the thing. It's like you so ready to be triggered, you're not ready to listen.
Yeah.
Because and so like this whole divide of like man versus woman and a woman.
Hey, tell me what y'all think about this though. I think to add with that though, I've seen this happen, right? I think sometimes women think like to make their boys like tough, they got to do mean ass shit to their boys.
Yes.
And I've seen women do this where it's like their son might have did something and you're supposed to celebrate them, and they like, oh, you ain't do nothing, boy. Give me that trophy.
Yeah.
You ain't do nothing out there.
And it's because they think
You know what I'm saying? And they think this is like tough love.
They
but
think that's like
you really
masculine.
just stole him of his joy. You
Yeah.
stole his joy, man. Like, what was that about?
And that's what happens is if you don't have a man with you, you feel like you have to overcorrect.
Right, and now you're trying to do something unnatural, and you're doing it
Right.
wrong, and now you're kind of ruining them.
Right, because you supposed to super nurture them, and as a man, I'm supposed to be like, okay, you super nurturing them, and like you're going to smother him.
But how much of this is people issues or not? Because it's like specific behavior from necessary people. Because like just because you're in a 2-parent household, it don't mean that you're gonna.
No, because
You know what I'm saying?
because you made.
Hold on. It don't mean that you're gonna what?
It doesn't mean that you're going to be better off than a boy that's coming from a single parent household. So it's like those are specific. It's specific.
It depends
to the
on what
people.
you mean.
When you
Better
have
off.
statistics and percentages, then that's a different ball.
Yeah, because I guess
Yeah, because you can. But on the peripheral, I'm a part of the percentage that's in the positive, but I'm not positive. Every male in my every male. Every male that was in my, whatever, in my upbringing that had a part of raising me, they were extreme whores.
Right.
I go around with my daddy today, and his first thing he gonna say, "You still ain't smashed your sister friends? I smashed all my sister friends." He say the same thing 1,000 times. Like they all extreme whores. They want me to fuck everything that's walking.
but when you
not extreme,
But I am. But I am in the percentage.
Okay.
If you look at the percentages, I'm in the positive side. I graduated, I got masters, whatever, this and that.
yeah.
Okay, but hold on. That's what I was gonna say. So like it depends on what you're calling came out good. Cause see, you might be thinking like,
Just his percentage.
well, no, I'm not even talking about percentage. I'm saying like you might be thinking of in terms of like financial status or like completion of material things in the world, like worldly stature. But maybe your mindset is not all the way there either, So like when you live in a household with a man, that lives there all the time, yeah, it is. There's a drastic difference in how people turn out.
It can be.
And also,
Bubba's pretty solid.
but also, the shit go deeper than what you just said is important.
And we're not saying it's right or wrong. It's just a difference. It's a, but yeah,
it could be your mom and your dad was in the house, but how was your dad's dad? You know what I mean? Or how was his dad's dad? So he may have some shit passed down to him that was counterproductive or quote unquote toxic.
yeah.
So and he passed that down to you. So even though he was there, you drinking from a dirty river.
Yeah.
And so and there's no like shot at him.
But it's a lot of that in our community.
That's the whole point. So
that's,
like a lot of it is like, especially like me growing up with just the mother, it's like certain realizations that I have to have like certain like moments with myself where I have conversations with myself. It's like, this is where I went wrong. And it's not even blaming my mother or blaming, it's just understanding that my mom loved me this way because that's all the resources she had to love me this way. But her loving me this way, it affected how I love people. So it's not like just because you had a mom and a dad, it's deeper than that. It's different. Just because you had a mom and a dad, you go turn out okay. How does your dad's dad?
Well, that's what that's the point I was making. It's deeper than that. So I don't think you could just go straight to statistics or make a bland statement as he did, because it's deeper than it's deeper.
But that's why.
So excuse me. Even we're talking about the numbers, right? The numbers speak to specific things. Like it speaks to the fourth grade education, right? It speaks to incarceration, but the numbers don't speak to character. Right, so you know what I'm saying. Being compassionate, so being mindful of how numbers can be used. We absolutely have to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. But so I witnessed a conversation online. I apologize, I can't remember who the people were, but I do know that there was a woman fighting hard on behalf of women, and her argument was that women were better parents than men. So the numbers were used to say, no, what you're saying is not accurate. Should we at least consider doing something different?
But that's
right. So even the thought, I'm get you in a minute. But even the thought of even like doing something different, right?
Forbidden.
Right, because we did a show called "I'll Always Love My Mama." Can we question how black mothers are mothering their sons? Right? And that conversation went to...
Most women said no.
Yeah, I mean...
They were like, you don't have the room to say how I should parent.
Right, right. I mean,
that's how they said it, though.
Black tables,
serious too.
kind of screaming at us a little bit.
Right.
And it was like... And I think their number one complaint was, you don't have any women up there on the panel.
Right.
So when I was able to get grip on the room again, I said, wait a minute. I have a black mama. All of my mama's sisters who had children, they're black mothers. I have a wife and an ex-wife. They both mothers. I got a sister who's a mother. So you're telling me that my view on how black women parent our children is something that black women should not care about? You know what the women told me?
Yep.
They told me, yeah, you got nothing to say.
It's super trash, man.
Yeah. Right? So when I pulled, but after the show,
that show was crazy.
and I talked to like 4 or 5 of those women separately, they ended up agreeing with me.
Yeah, that was wild.
Which is wild.
That was so wild.
Which is wild. You, when we were in the room, you said this, but that's not even your life. In your life, you listen to your husband about what you do with his kids, right?
So
yeah. So why would you not? Why would you say that we don't have? So I'm simply saying that having this kind of conversation is challenging.
I don't like how you said it though.
Right.
When we was right there, I ain't like how you said it.
Doing this than we are.
Crazy,
right? Yeah. And when you add to that thing, well, I don't need a man. Like, so like when you add that caveat into the whole thing, so like, what are we doing? So what is your? Can you stop that long enough to love your son enough to to pour into him what he needs and get the village around him to give him what he needs to walk in this world as a man. It's a challenging conversation.
You can't talk about women's pride.
It's a hard one, man. It's a hard one.
But even that conversation is really an example of why balance is necessary.
Yeah.
Because if I'm speaking solely in like facts and statistics, things will get lost. If I'm speaking solely in emotion and I feel that it should be this way, things will get lost.
Yeah, it gotta be.
So that's the whole point is that's what it is figuring out a balance. Not even figuring out a balance, but allowing balance to happen.
Yeah.
The whole argument about men and women and men do this and women do that and men need to be this and women need to be that is not allowing the proper balance.
But don't you think, going back to Whitlock, isn't that just crazy to draw that comparison or that conversation out of a boy dying to police?
No, it's not crazy, but it is an example of how a man just broke it down in a definitive way without emotions attached. So then when you attack...
That can't be a definitive way.
Exactly. That's the whole point. It can't be. So when you say it just like, it feels like cold-hearted when you just be like, well, he just ain't have his mother. But when we have a conversation like this where we break down what he means when he says that, there's emotion.
It kind of lines up.
Yeah, it lines up. It's just...
But if you didn't hear the backstory, you like, who you talking to?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what you go get.
I still think it's crazy.
And but
it is crazy.
That's why
he was robbing. That's why I would.
It's crazy. It's crazy when you.
It's crazy, man. Somebody told him to say it. He probably just.
But it's just.
He didn't
it's okay to have not to show guys. I broke it down. You know, it's okay to have the conversation and have just separate from that.
Yeah, but you said something crazy and a woman was like, "That's crazy what you just said," and you needed that. In the same way, a woman that said something that was crazy, you'd be like, "Think about what you just said."
Yeah,
So
and that's balance.
Charles Carr said Whitlock has made his living being controversial is what keeps him relevant.
Hot takes create dialogue, and I mean, and we live in a time where a person, they will assume and project based off what they think you mean before they go, what exactly do you mean by what you're saying?
Yeah.
No one ever says that on my post.
That's the whole point, man.
They be like, oh, so you saying this? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Maybe if you ask me what I'm saying,
right,
I will explain it before you tell me what I'm doing. Like,
right,
you in my mind, you not
right,
in my mind. That's not what I meant. Why do you think that what I'm saying that I meant to like shit on your day? Like, why are you automatically assuming that? Like,
that's like if Whitlock,
gaining clarity is not a popular thing.
If Whitlock would have said children need to be raised with a man and a woman, people would have been like, number one, they would have been like, what they got to do with these people killing this kid? That's what they would have said, number one.
Yeah, because I can't get off of that.
Yeah. Number two, they would have been like,
and then in that, it's like, which one were you talking about? You talking about the officer?
You right.
What is a woman?
Exactly.
He kind of just said, what he was like, it's black women. He was like,
So
somebody was like, boy, you gonna get a shock.
But somebody get offended by
just
that,
do
bro.
it.
This is what it is, bro. Whatever you gonna say online, bro, you gonna offend somebody.
Right.
It don't matter what you say. Yeah.
Right.
It ain't no way. Children need to be raised by a man and a woman. There's a community out there that's gonna say,
what is a woman?
Hey.
He said, what is a woman?
What is a woman?
I ain't catch that.
That's about to get us canceled.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but
that's a good point.
so I mean, so a lot of times I'll just throw a topic out there, and then out of all the comments that happen and all the perspectives, now we can build on that.
Right.
And I'll take the brunt of that because your opinion of me, man, I know who I am. So y'all can spew all the opinions you want on me, cool.
Yeah, you got a real weight going. Hey, you keep them jumping in there.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't do this because y'all think people's opinions or whatever. No, I'm just trying to build a dialogue. If that takes from you feeling away by what you thought I said, now we're having a conversation about something that's uncomfortable, then guess what?
And what's important about that is being okay with people who don't get the conversation.
Yeah, you
Like we be trying to like make people know what I'm trying to say is
It's over their
like
head,
because there's women who get it and there's men who get it, and then that's who we're having a conversation with.
Yeah,
And then when somebody start bringing up something that we're not talking about, I just don't engage. So you saying women can't raise kids? No, that's not exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that we need each other. But if you decide that there's an issue, then there's an issue.
I got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, just had he said women raising a child single-handedly, not put black on it, now you talking about all single mothers.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have to put black on it because it does seem like you're bashing the black community.
Well, it was because
all the people involved.
You can't say it, and
that's why you gotta understand.
There was
the
no way that he could have said that, and it would have been.
It would have been a lot better.
No,
it would have been.
Nah, he don't want white women after him.
And then on top of that, his comment was made not towards the boy's mother. It was made towards the police chief.
Yes.
So.
Nobody knew what he was saying.
It was irrelevant.
Right.
Yeah, but
for him to say.
To answer, the point is,
because she's
number
married.
one, you can't offend white women. That's for one.
Right.
Number two is if he
not on national TV.
But it's fair to it's fair
not if you on the work.
Black man things a little different.
Not if you work for Fox. You can't. But also if he. First of all, if he made any kind of sense, it would not made the air.
Right.
So if he had
we wouldn't be talking about it.
Nah.
If he,
but the point was
is
you made this comment towards the police chief.
Mm-hmm.
That was an irrelevant comment to make.
No, you was talking about how he. No, because as I understood it, the police chief manages the men who did this act.
Right. I mean, and he
but so had it been a man that was a police chief, can he hold it still would have happened.
No, I would tend to be in agreement with you because I believe that there
has been a lot.
I would say that there's been a lot of
police officers was just ignorant.
And a lot of black men have died at the hands of a police officer. Well, I'm saying there have been black men who have died at the hand of a police officer, and I feel confident when I say the vast majority of the police chiefs were men.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he could have said crackers need their dad in their life. It wouldn't have worked. I know you're from Florida. That's what you wanted. That he couldn't have said that.
Just like he said, it can be a 2-parent household, and that child just still.
Yeah, because that's some banal.
Yeah.
Like, but the whole point is we need a healthy family unit.
Yeah.
That's most of this shit boil down to that.
Yeah, it does.
When you speak freely, man, you're gonna say something
that people not gonna get.
Yeah, it's gonna happen unless you go to school for how to say
it. Sounds great, but I mean,
and then the people on the lower on a certain frequency, they not going to understand. So if I said it like Eric Dyson, then it's gonna be people who be like, that sounds kind of jazzy, and there's gonna be people who be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I think this is a part of maturity too, because as you grow, you get more humble because you realize if you speak on everything, you gotta fight a lot of battles.
Right.
Who want to do all that fighting, man?
Right.
But look. Also, if he would have said, "See, this is the problem. These black men is not in these homes," everybody would have been like.
Yeah,
but they would have been like, go to commercial.
They'd have been like, preach. They'd have been like, preach.
That would have landed.
On Fox News, they would have like, go to commercial.
No, it's good. It's okay to make black men look bad.
No, what I'm saying.
If he be like, yo, positive black role models is what we need. That'll save the world. They'd be like, no.
No. You gotta be like, yeah. If he would have been like,
play the Drake song.
This type of thing is happening in the community because these black fathers are not in these homes and they're not marrying these women. Then everybody would have been like, everybody, especially black women, bro.
Yeah.
And it's
really saying the same thing.
Not okay
right.
to make black men look bad.
No, but
it definitely happens a lot.
Yeah, it kind of is. It kind of is okay.
They'll air
But
it.
it's okay because
it's not okay.
black men is synonymous with men. and men who put together the constructs of this corporation and the things that they have done, we get synonymously somehow linked to them.
Right.
Because we got penises, you know what I'm saying?
And
so it's like when you shitting on men, everybody's like, yeah, men are the problem with this country. You know what I'm saying? And it's like
that is a thing right now.
Like when I hear some people say, oh, recently I seen some women in college and it was some women, they was in a sorority and they was on a panel about being a professional woman, black woman in corporate America and things like that, and the things that they have to navigate. And one of them was saying, because, you know, when you're a woman, you don't get the same respect as men, which is, I'm not going to argue that. Or that some of these men, they don't validate or they don't respect your opinion, or, you know, you have to work twice or three times as hard. I've been a witness to that with my professional black women friends. So I'm in agreements with that. But they were speaking blanket like men have it so, men just have this position in corporate America and in life from being men, and that doesn't apply to us. That doesn't apply to us.
And
we get boxed in. We get
treated like we do.
And
we
I'm
are
like,
this.
I'm like,
we're not.
Where I'm from, they try to get you early. They try to label you a problem in elementary school. They trying to get you by the time you in high school into the system. They trying to get you in a prison by the time you turn 18. Like, they pulling you over. They doing. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Like, what?
And
like
we still have similar issues in corporate America too.
Yeah, you feel me? You on the corporate side of the game. So it's like, I be like, you know that we didn't create that construct. We don't run that construct. Like, so be more specific, but I get what they saying. I ain't finna argue with you because you're gonna say, y'all not looking at the picture of what we face every day. No. I'm just saying, think about what you're saying now, because you're assuming, but you ain't sat and asked none of us no questions and sat in the panel with us and asked us what we had to go through in this life, in these bodies that we in. Before you go ahead and generalize us with this thing, and y'all hate it when we generalize y'all, and that's fair. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah, give the same respect.
Cause yeah, y'all, we don't. It's not about. I made a post. I said whoever created this whole black men got it easier, black women got it easier.
Yeah, they divided us the rest of the way.
They need a Nobel War Prize. Because that shit is brilliant.
He being a black man, I think he should have directed it towards black men. Need to be in the household, because now that y'all are able to hold each other accountable.
Yeah, but it's
then you can accept what he said, but better than a female who worked her ass off. You know what I'm saying? Doing everything she can do for her child. Now I'm not saying that he was wrong or anything in what he said, but it would have came off better.
No, it just wouldn't.
I think he should have just shut up.
There's a lot of black men that want to be farmers, and the mama is in the way.
But now do the calculation. Y'all talking numbers. Do the numbers on that.
Here's the numbers.
That's going to be a low number. It ain't a lot of them like y'all.
This is the number. These are the numbers. 51% of black men are in the middle class and childless. 30% are married with children. So you got about 20% that's fucking all them hoes and getting the same girls pregnant. Those are the numbers.
Yeah, the ones who married their children, they don't mean that the children that they got is in their house.
I don't that.
Hey! Now that's not what we're talking about here, baby.
But so you understand what I'm saying? So when the numbers help, I think, take away the myth, right? Take away the myth. There's a professor out of Fresno State. I've been checking him out, and I need to do more. I need to do more research. I need to be more familiar with his work. But he's created a program. He's creating a language for men to use so they can have these kind of conversations. Dr. T. Hassan Johnson at Fresno State. And some of y'all are familiar that I was going back with this sister from Canada. And her number one the number one thing that she always goes back to when we would have a conversation was black men, black women are dying at the hands of black men more than anything else. Right? So much so that she went forward in conversation and she said that abortion, when that thing changed, she said abortion should be legal in this country just so that black women have the ability to kill their black sons. She said, I'm just saying, she typed that to me in conversation. So the point I'm making is there's this thing that says that black women, that black men are killing black women, but the numbers say different. The numbers say, in terms of the 10 things that are the top 10 things that are killing women, black men ain't in the top 10. But we can't say the same thing about sisters with men in the top 10.
No, that's stress.
So having that information helps.
Because I got
stress.
So what are the women doing to the men?
Stress. That's stress.
Misha, you
Women,
of
like
all people know.
I am very controversial. But at the same time, I be having a point to make. That is my point. But I'm a woman who raised a son that ain't never been in juvenile, graduated, ain't never been in jail. He 25, he don't have no kids, no nothing. That's my best friend. We dress alike, we hang out together. He on club, we skate together. So I grew up in a 2-parent home. All my siblings screwed up. I'm the only one that ain't been to jail.
That's an anomaly.
My grandmother and my grandfather been together since they was 18 years old. My grandfather came out the military, retired from the military, and retired from TICO. My grandmother was a model. My daddy is a crackhead. But they was raised in a household with my grandmother and grandfather all day life.
But is he a model?
No. He's just a loser. So what he was saying is like, you can't really say.
See, that's why. Okay, so I'm a life coach. So one of the situations that I tend to have when we have these conversations is, it happens to me a lot. Is we'll have a conversation, and the woman will say, "Well, that's not my life." Right, but okay, and granted, right, but we're not talking about everybody's life. We're talking about what we're talking about, and this is why. So you're going to have exceptions to all rules.
Some, but not all.
Some, right. So you're going to have that. So, but because it's not true for Bubba, don't mean it's not true for the rest of us.
Exactly.
Yeah, because Bubba see it went apart. He seen what happened with.
But I hold on. I think the most.
Oh yeah, for sure. Nobody's.
He should have never said black women that don't like.
He shouldn't have said
He
nothing.
should have said a lot of shit. Yeah, we agree.
We agree.
Because that's not.
But we
that's not
dissect.
100%
But we just
true.
dissect.
I mean, but black women are the problem. Am I right?
Not always.
You're not gonna get no amen in here.
No, not it's some.
Yes, they are.
I'm gonna say a lot of them are. Especially this day and age. A lot of them are this day and age.
They are.
But you do have some that are not like that.
No, but
They are like they are.
I mean, but you gotta go back and back and back and back and back before you can just point the finger here.
Yeah, because Caesar.
You gotta go back. You know what I'm saying? Like the war on drugs, putting crack in the community. You know what I'm saying? Redlining.
Yeah, you can't blame one of the victims.
Different things, voting, all kind of suppression. Like when you start looking at it, it's not even covert war.
I think a better way to explain it is like maybe they are like a part of the problem, but like what happened to them to make them this part?
Right.
So it does keep going back.
They're one of the biggest.
What gets interesting when we have these conversations is it tends to look like if you say something that somebody's blaming somebody.
Right.
Right? So I want to be clear. When I'm saying what I'm saying about black women, I'm not blaming black women. I'm saying this is what's before us. So how it got there is another conversation.
Yeah.
But this is what's before us. So now if we're going to deal with what's before us, we have to talk about it. We have to examine it. We have to explore it. We have to tear that shit apart and put it back together again and have something new, hopefully better. The work is to get it better. But we still got to talk about it. And the problem gets that when you talk about it, people get triggered.
Right.
They get triggered like you're attacking. No, we're not attacking. Now this is something that Dr. T. Hassan Johnson said that applies right now. And he said, for the last 40, 50 years, nobody's had it. There's been no wave in favor of black women not talking about how black men ain't shit.
Yeah.
There's been nothing from the black women saying, let's stop talking about black men like black men ain't shit. That energy, when we talk about where it is, one's around here and the other one's way somewhere else. Since the quote unquote birth of the Kevin Samuels movement and what's happened with the manosphere, that's been like 2-3 years.
It was before that. They had red pills and all that.
Right, I'm just saying, but it really, the last 2 or 3 years, it really exploded. Because everything has a birthplace, right? The last 2 or 3 years, it really exploded. So now that sisters are in a space where their men are saying what they're saying, after they've said all they had to say about us, and now that we're saying something back, they don't want to hear what the fuck we got to say. That's the problem.
But
they have industries that make money off of how Oprah became Oprah, making sure that women looked at men like men wasn't shit.
Black men.
Black men. Like they weren't shit.
Only black men. It's only black men.
Right? So now this is what he said. He said, if y'all gonna have to listen to it for a little while. We listen to y'all. Y'all will have to listen to it for a while. And all I'm asking, he said he don't give a shit. Y'all just gonna have to listen to it. I'm saying, try to listen, try to hear us. Know that we're not attacking you. Don't turn every conversation we have into talking about what you did into a conversation about me. Right? Just listen.
Yeah, that's the one right there.
But I,
in love, listen.
I think the disconnect is the way men and women see things. So I think men, it's kind of like a math problem. Men do the work in their head and then they give you the answer. Mm-hmm. Women show their work. Mm-hmm. So the disconnect is every part of them showing their work, they're telling you how they feel about it. Mm-hmm. And so the disconnect is a man will just blurt out the end like Whitlock basically he just said the end.
Thought it all the way through. And
he said the end. Mm-hmm. And then women are like, yeah, but I feel like this though. Like I feel like you attacking me but it's like y'all both saying the same thing.
Because you mentioned me.
So, yeah, so it's because you mentioned me, it's about me and I'm the problem. When you just a part of the problem, then the answer is that we both figured it out. So like it's like the disconnect is that's just how we break down the problem. And we can't get past solving the problem. We can't get past it.
Yeah, can't even get the solution.
Yeah, so it's like you attacking black women, and he's like, and then that's when ego kick in. Because no, I'm right, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. I ain't attacking no black women. I'm telling you the answer. Instead of
attacking is crazy, man, because it's like twofold, right? Like every time somebody says you're attacking something, like they're negating the fact that you're protecting something,
right?
Mm-hmm. And for real. So in his comment, he's like trying to protect like a young black man,
right?
But like everybody only looks at it, and it's his verbiage too. He
right.
But
even that's just
foolish.
That was on
purpose. Everybody know the man green.
But that was done on purpose too. Like so, yeah, because I know that
he's like. It's like dumb nigga placement, you know? They're like, we need a dumb ass motherfucker to say this, you know? And then they're like, they pass him the card and he's like, Yeah, it's the black women. He gets slayed.
But
you know what I'm saying?
it's actually the contrary. You need a smart to say it because he's dumb enough to say it.
Right.
So it's
he's a know-it-all.
And then he won't even explain it. His ego's so big that people be like, "You attacking black women?" He'd be like, "Well, that's what you got from it.
Well,
that's what you took from it." Instead of just being like, "Nah, what I was saying was."
Yeah.
Well, no, what I heard him say later, in all fairness, right? And when I heard what he said, I called it and I was like, okay, that's wild, right? So, and I knew there was going to be something, so I just put it in my notes. We got to talk about that shit. So, but then I went back to listen to it again. Didn't get to listen to it, but I remember when I went to it the second time, what I did hear him say was, we got to talk about the prom. He said, it would be crazy for me to walk around here and I expect people to talk about how fat I am and how I need to lose weight. He said, if they really love me, they'll keep reminding me that I need to be more healthy. And he said, so I'm going to keep reminding us that we need to be more healthy. Now, I'm paraphrasing it, but that's the gist of what he said.
Let me ask you this. Can co-parenting be as effective as a two-parent household? Is it as effective? Is it the same?
I don't think.
Can.
I don't think so.
I think
You have to live with a bubble.
I think you gotta just know the definition of co-parenting.
I know this is a one-off, right? This is a one-off in my situation, but my son, he's very, very well behaved, very respectful. He's an academic scholar. He's a nice, respectful young kid. You know what I'm saying? And but when he see me as mom, I can go over there tomorrow. I can knock on the door. I come in. Her man, what up, bro? Doo-doo-doo. I'm in my son room. What you got going on? Y'all playing the game? Hey, bro, you good? You like it's so he's seeing all this.
Right.
And like everybody's adults. We love the kids, man. The most important thing is that these kids are flourishing, and we take care of what we got to take care of, so they can take care of what they have to take care of. Mm-hmm. So I'm witnessing a version of me that's growing up off love. Right. He doesn't know what it is for the lights to be off and to be poor and to be these things. Like he's getting love from his mom. He's getting love from his dad. He has a family unit. He goes spend the night at his aunt's house with his cousins and this and that. And I'm just like watching how beautifully this boy is maturing. You know what I'm saying? So, and that used to be one of my biggest fears. Like, I'm not gonna be in that house every day. So what's gonna become so I mean, as of right now, this boy, I mean, he's flourishing in every aspect of his life. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, but I can't say that's every situation because I know situations where the mom and dad don't get along. Right. The boyfriend don't want the man around, her girlfriend don't want him over there, and all that, all that crap. We been came to agreement way back. But I said that I'm not doing that. I'm not beefing with you. I'm not arguing with you. I'm not doing none of that. It's about the kids, and they agree. But now I got another situation where I have a daughter that don't talk to me. You know what I'm saying? I could text her, I could do this, I could do that. She don't even respond. You know, when she ready, we can talk all about all that. But that situation wasn't cohesive like that. Right. I was only getting calls when my daughter got in trouble, or I wasn't being let know, oh, she doing this, she doing that. You know what I'm saying? It was like, and part of that is on me because I didn't have my stuff together to where the mom was just like, he don't got his stuff together. So, you know what? But like, or when I went to the house, there wasn't even a picture of me in the home. And I'm like, there's no picture of me here, not even in my daughter's room. Like, I'm like, not even a thing. Right. And she's like, you're making more of it than you're thinking about. But when I walk into my son's room, the first thing you see on his wall is it's like a collage of like me and him, like right on his wall. That his mama put there. So, I mean, it's always variables and it all depends. But in that situation, I got the highest respect for both of them, as my giving me a kid and having my kid. But with me and my son's mom, like we are a cohesive unit. Yeah. She gonna call me, oh yeah, he got a literary day at 5:00. Oh, he this and that. hey, you want to get him this weekend because I'm finna da 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 da. Like, you know, so it's like
it can't work.
It depends on the people.
It can't work.
But I think what you just described, and it's a distinct difference from it can work or making a concerted effort for it to work, as opposed to it naturally work. Like the natural order is not to be in a broken family and you making it work and you figuring it out.
Right.
So like, even though you can't, because I'm in a similar situation with my son, we get along perfectly fine, and it's because I made it work until it worked. But a better scenario is if my son had the same mom, same dad, and I saw him
possibly.
Right. Well, possibly right, because but in my utopia is that we are able to grow together and we're able to have a cohesive unit. Yeah. Like making it work. Of course you can make it work, and of course you can have a great turnout, because my son is very well behaved, excels in school. Me and his mom get along. Me and her husband get along. And a part of that is because I had to humble myself and make it work. Yeah. But I do believe that it should be a certain level of the bicycle effect where I'm not making it work. Where I'm just moving forward and she moving forward and my kid moving forward and it's all working. So can it work? Yes. Is that ideal? No.
Even married,
it's not
you got to make it work. Right. Even married, living in the same house, because I've been married 20, how many years now? I'm gonna come to you. Almost 30 years, right? And then I was married prior, and I have 3 children with my first wife, and my wife had 3 children, so we got the Brady Bunch, so we got 6 kids, right? We have to make that work, right? Yes, ma'am. You want to make a comment about some?
Yes. Your son is in the household with his mother and a male, another person, right? That's a.
They legally married. They filed taxes together, all that kind of stuff.
That's a two-parent household. Your son is in the household with 2 parents as well.
Well, I mean, he ain't my son's parent, but he ain't my son's parent.
He's not your son's parent?
They're not married.
They ain't married.
I see what point you're getting at, though.
But
he's a male role model in my son's life.
Does he live there?
No, but he be there a lot.
Okay. All right. So your son has access to 2 parents, 3 parents.
A role model. He got another male role model in his life.
To 2 parents.
He not my son's parent.
Role model. Okay. Role model.
Let her cook now. Let her cook.
Is he an influence in your son's life?
Yeah, but I'm not agreeing to that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna use my words very carefully.
Positive or negative?
Oh yeah, I mean I got nothing but love and respect for bro. Okay, so but he ain't my son's parent.
Yeah, it is different, man. That's a man and a woman thinks differently, and it's very important that we understand that and that we're able to move forward.
Yeah, that's.
I believe that they will get married. I believe that they will get married. They expecting a child right now. I got respect for bruh. He's solid. I believe they will get married, and then they got a child going away. And then,
I think what y'all explained,
and then he'll be my son's stepfather. But until then, he's a positive male role model in my son's life. And he don't like try to be my son's dad neither. You know what I'm saying? He not like on that weird type of energy. Like he's just a positive role model.
We need a whole other show. Because I struggle with that, y'all. Because I have that age I am. Everybody's age got children. That's hard to tell.
Not because he got respect that my son got a dad that's active in his life. You know what I'm saying?
But what's the line? What's overstepped and what's weird?
Yeah.
I mean, he ain't finna be trying to like discipline my son and doing no kind of crazy stuff like that.
I can't.
Why is that crazy?
But I'm saying so.
Nah, you ain't. What you mean?
Why is that crazy?
Huh?
Money.
Why is that crazy?
I mean, you know, that's things that got to be discussed. If 2 men got respect for each other, then we have to have a sit down and discuss things.
Okay. What is your definition of discipline?
Yeah,
spanking.
No, he definitely gonna put his hands on my son. We don't
but you don't want him to tell him right from wrong,
You all over
or chastise him when he does something wrong.
Nah, he could call him out on it. He could call him out on it. He could call him out on
That's
that.
the line. Really, honestly, I am.
That's discipline.
That's discipline.
That's discipline.
Yeah, but
You just don't want him spanking him.
No,
I mean, yeah, I never spank my son.
But
so
I'm saying,
but I know he wouldn't do that anyway.
physically
He wouldn't
discipline him,
do
but
that.
can he verbally discipline him?
Not too far.
That's a good. No, what do you mean? Not
What's
too far?
cursing? What's the line?
I mean, if my son did,
His dad really does.
oh, fortunately, my son is a very well-behaved son. But if my son did something, his mama gonna call me.
yeah. I mean,
His mama gonna call me.
Okay.
but
You know what I'm saying? His mama, like, we all got a mutual respect. Like, if me and bro have a talk, I know you be around my son. You know what I'm saying? My son, he really don't do nothing because he living life, to be honest.
Right.
But I know his mama would call me because if my son ever threw a tantrum or something, she calling me and putting me right on the phone with him while he actively doing whatever he doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's why.
So for instance, your son wasn't the child that he is. He was a child that did stuff that he had no business doing. Is it wrong for him to verbally discipline him? Is it always, what if you can't, at that time, you on the phone, that ain't working, and you can't come?
I mean, it ain't never not worked, to be honest. When I talk to my son, he listens. You know what
So
I'm saying?
once they get married, can he verbally discipline him?
I mean, I'm sure there will be instances where, but I just don't know, like, bro, no, I'm saying, like, bro, really, like, he play his role. He in my son's life. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he told my son, hey, clean up or maybe go do this or go do that. But I think if it came down to something like stern like that, he'll acquiesce to me. You feel me? Or the mama. Like, it'll go through the mama first because my son mama from Richmond Heights. You know what I'm saying? She don't play no games.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's all...
Is that what you
my son
prefer?
my son
That
don't...
sounds like you speaking to what you
Can
prefer.
It's just like a hierarchy of we are the parents. He is her significant other.
Can I speak for me though?
Yeah, go ahead.
So
They not married.
So but for me,
And I'm still gonna be his father.
And no,
Because your
you're not.
son's mother
For me,
is married, right?
for me, my son's mother is married, right? And I've had this talk with her, and my mom, and everybody involved, her husband, her parents. My son is in a unique situation where he has multiple male figures in his life. He has a grandfather, he has a father, he has a stepfather.
Mm-hmm.
Because his mother is married to this gentleman. He bring in the money. They don't bring in the money. He brings in money. You know what I mean? He brings in money. He is as much a part of my family as I am a part of his. Right?
And that's positive. That's good.
So with that being said, I don't have no macho machismo. If my son needs correcting and I'm not there, he's going to provide correcting. And because we have had conversations, we have interactions with each other, he's not going to correct him with malice, or he's not going to correct him in a way that's excessive.
But that was my question is, once you have this conversation, whether they're married or not, if they've been together 6-7 years and he provides for your child and this and that, then he should be able to verbally discipline them. Just as well as if my child came to your house and you had a girlfriend and I know that she's not trying to treat my child with ill malice and she loved my child for theirs, she can verbally chastise my child because I'm not there.
So it takes time, is what
it doesn't take time. It really don't even take time.
What if I'm only here for a couple months?
It depends. No, that's a no for me.
You don't need to know that, baby.
But it does take a little bit of time. But it depends on the characters of the people.
I just watched that again.
Hold on, what's saying?
I said it does take certain amount of time. But it depends on the character of the people.
Yeah.
Because everybody ain't gonna be on the same page. And for me, if this man is not on the same page to where he can get along with my son's father, you're not the man for me.
Yeah.
Because I need this to be a village.
Exactly. And that's my whole thing is exactly what you said. It's very important that we all get along. Right. So it's very like I put it like, and this is not to like pat myself on the back or anything like that. But my son's mom, her husband, her dad, who lives in another city close by, but they all got the VIG, right? I took them all individually, immune boosting, like turmeric shots, or like medicine. I took everybody. Them talking to her husband. Hey, you gotta take this shot. Boom, you gonna feel better. Trust me. Boom, boom. Go to wherever I'm going to her dad and her mom, somewhere else. Hey, take this. Boom, you gonna feel better. You gotta take this. Trust me. To the point where like my girl, I'm talking to them, and my girl like you bossing them around. It's like no, I'm making sure that everybody's okay.
For your son, so your son.
Not even for my. Not even
being a man.
It's not even for a son. It's just for the fact that it ain't about nothing but that we all okay. Because we all are raising a man.
We family now.
Right, we family now. Whether you like it or not. So we're not gonna not get along. We're not gonna fight. We're not gonna be like, you ain't my son, no way, kick his little fork down. We're not doing none of that.
So
we ain't doing none of that.
In the aspect of what Jay was saying, they're not married. But if he ever financially did anything for your child,
I'm sure he has.
Was there
sure
to different events, he's a form of a parent, whether you want him to be or not.
I got nothing but respect for him. I
get what you said.
I respect that anything involving him and my son would be handled respectfully. But I just also know that his mom is, huh?
But you don't want him to be his parent.
No, that's not what I said. No, that's not what I said.
He just not know.
That's not what he said.
That's not what I said.
But he didn't say he didn't want him to. He just said he's not his parent.
Yeah.
He's his father and he's around.
Yeah.
That's all.
But
The role model.
But that's what he said.
But I said he's a positive male role model. Like he tell me, oh yeah, I whooped your son on the mat and he was whining about it. Me and him laughing together. Good, beat him because he think he always beat me in all the games.
But Jason is his father.
Beat him. But it's like we all have an adult, mature respect. It's it's just been if they ever came to that situation, it's just I know it will all be done respectfully. I have 100% respect for my child's mother, that she would never have somebody around my child that would disrespect him in any way. Like me and her, we locked in on that. Yeah. We don't even gotta have a conversation about that.
That's what I took out of this
conversation
though. That the two males have a conversation.
But it is important that the two males have an understanding. But that's just
as well as the two women.
Yeah, as well as the women.
It's more of the women that have issues than the men.
Yeah, I do.
Majority of the time, the men can get along. It's mostly women just can't.
And I'm gonna be. Crystal said earlier.
And I'm gonna be honest. There's women who will make sure there's friction between the men.
Always.
And we ain't playing with none of that.
Always.
We ain't having friction at all.
Let's go right to the source. You were saying?
No, I was gonna use us as an example, but it's okay. I mean, we didn't. We came together, and like you said, you had 3, I had 3, but we became.
I was beating ass right off the bat.
We became a family, pretty much. I mean, the character, like you said, of the person.
Yeah.
You know the character of the person. You get to know that person, and if you're going to have a relationship, know that you're going to be with this person. You have to begin to have some trust and some conversation and say, this is how we gonna do it. You're gonna be the father, I'm gonna be the mother, then we are a family.
And I said that jokingly.
I mean, time's gotta be invested too.
I did spank, but I think it's fair. I think I feel confident in saying that my children may have received, and this is each one of them, may have received maybe 2 spankings from me. So I didn't.
Your own biological children?
All 6. All 6.
But were you around from them being little to?
We got married. The oldest was 10, and the baby was 3.
but that's raising them. So
Yes.
it like I see no problem with that.
It wasn't gonna be no problem.
That's what I'm saying. It depends on the parents.
Right, I'm getting what you're saying, but
Yeah, I think
okay.
it's
So
the
like,
motive.
Did you have a conversation with their father beforehand?
beforehand, what?
Like,
So you hand out whoopings.
No.
No, I didn't.
No.
I didn't have a conversation. I had conversations with them, but I did not have conversations about what I'm doing at my house.
Is their father was around? No.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
see,
the difference.
I don't
But
think my
that's
son
the
mama
difference.
even like move like that. You feel me? Like I don't even see it. I don't
mean,
see
it's
that
like-
happening.
it was
Like,
But
It was not,
there's they didn't speak on it, but they spoke on it. So there's a difference.
yeah, it is.
When that other person or that other father or other mother is nowhere to be
It wasn't that. It
No.
wasn't like that. It wasn't
They
like that.
they were in the, yeah, they were around. It's just that-
involved,
Yes.
but
Yes. They saw the
100%.
No, not 100%. 100% would be
living in the house.
No,
They didn't see
I
it
mean,
100%.
no, because you could be a co-parent and still be 100%.
No.
I feel like.
I think
it
for
wasn't.
sure.
It wasn't like a.
No,
Okay, back to the co-parenting thing though. I think everything that y'all described was co-parenting, so it's hard to say like co-parenting versus living in the house,
Right.
because you can live in the house and co-parent. Co-parent just means you work together
Right.
to parent
Yes.
together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think,
So married people.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I think we talked about
It's all good, yeah.
only co-parenting. You
but
know,
when we use
all those
we
examples
know
were
when we
co-parent.
use a co-parent in this type of terminology, we know we're saying
Yeah,
like
it's a
two
divided
parents
household.
that are not together anymore that like are still a team.
But am
Right.
am I crazy to think
And
like
that is tough, man, because
that could be a
sometimes
better
people don't want to
situation
work.
than a 2-parent household?
For who?
Y'all two, you know what I'm saying? That sounds like a better situation than a 2-parent household. What y'all two kids going through right now?
I mean, but
You
what
got
type of
multiple-
two-parent household?
Multiple positive. I'm just saying, he got extra male
I don't know, it's
role
still
models in
trauma.
their life.
Yeah, it's still
Ain't no drama. They just said ain't
No,
no
but
drama.
No, I said it's still trauma
Yeah, it's like-
for a child.
yeah, because
Ain't no trauma. What a trauma.
No.
I'm
I'm saying,
saying,
listen,
I'm
listen.
here in
But let me
paradise.
tell you. No, let me
Jason
tell
told
you.
me
But let
paradise.
me tell you,
No,
there
it is
was
trauma and it's
a few
confusing.
years ago.
It can be confusing for
a few years ago, his mom called me and she was like, "Yeah, your son is like mad at me. He like asking us like why we ain't together, like why we ain't married."
That's all-
And I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, we just friends,
There-
but we still love each other and love you. And he like stomped out the room, bro. Like he was mad. Like why you and my dad ain't together?
Well, kids do that if you are in a 2-parent household and the two parents have arguments all the time.
that's
Like, that happens too.
that's trauma. Just
But that's something as a kid he had to come to terms with.
yeah, that's still.
And I'm not gonna
that's an
see my
adult
dad.
situation.
I'm not gonna see my father every single
that's
day.
You gotta have a conversation.
You know what I'm saying? Him
Yeah,
and my mom are like,
Yeah, it's
they're
different
super
every day.
cool.
Yeah, yeah.
When I'm over there, we laughing and joking, and everybody's getting along. But he like, and his mom, he like, why y'all not together? Y'all this cool?
Yeah, y'all get along. Yeah,
Yeah.
because children understand innately natural order. Just like your mom might be the disciplinarian, but your dad might be like, hey, don't be jumping around that room. You gonna sit your ass down. But your mom is the one who gonna really
Like you
Come
might
to blows.
get more spankings or that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And,
that's how
you
it
know,
goes.
because it's like, you know,
And he might just be like, "Hey, you heard what she
Yeah.
said,"
right, exactly.
and walk out. And
Right.
now everybody got to tighten up.
Right.
'cause
Right.
If he come back,
right.
And that was him.
Yeah.
Right.
That was
Straight
him.
up.
Because now she gotta acquiesce to what she said, and I've already said that whatever she said is what it is.
Yeah.
So
They
children
like that.
children understand natural order. So
Yeah.
if your dad don't live in the house, he gonna wonder why, and eventually he gonna ask you.
Yeah.
And when he does, you need to be prepared to have that conversation.
Children innately understand DNA too.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So like your learning is best when it's from the same DNA because they already understand
Right.
the DNA you have.
Right.
And it's like it's something unspoken of
Right.
that, like it's a feeling. So like that makes it pivotal too. So that's tough. Like yeah, you can have a role model in the house, but if they're not of the same DNA, they kind of can't relate, or they kind of like gotta find a different way to make you understand.
Right.
Because if I got your DNA, I know how. I almost can say like I know what to tell you to help you learn something faster.
Right.
And he watching me, how I walk, how I talk. My son
Right.
has my same like speech patterns and
Yeah.
everything. I'm like, this is
Yeah,
wild.
DNA's
Like,
no joke.
when I show up to that house, bro,
Yeah,
and he
DNA's no
open
joke.
that door and he see me, bro, he light up like Christmas every time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they get along great, bro. They watch football together. They play video games together. They get along. But when he see me, bro, it's like
it's
that's
different.
That's
a different
my
connection,
father.
bro.
Like
It's a different
this
connection.
is my hero. You know what I'm saying?
Did you get enough?
Yeah.
So what you gonna do?
But I would recommend to anybody, man, please, before you have a child or woman, man, lock in with that woman, man. Y'all make sure that, because, man, that's the most beautiful thing for all three of y'all. However many kids y'all have.
It's for y'all to
wake
together,
up every
man.
day as a unit and grow. You know what I'm saying? And
Hey, that's funny. We were talking in the shop earlier this week, and it's kind of not just y'all though. So like it came up about like grandparents and how DNA learns and like what's the optimum or the best babysitter for your baby to learn. And it's always the grandparents who share the DNA. It's those grandparents. It got to be blood grandparents. They said they're like the best because they're like getting ready to go back to the realm that they just came from. So like they can like go back and forth on things like that we're not aware of, So like your grandma or your granddad can like usher you into this world as the baby ushers them back into the world they're going to.
Dang, that's deep. That's heavy.
But I mean, even in saying that, that's the whole importance of like the black
so
family.
it's like we need everybody. It's not even you kind of can't even skip to like where your daddy was. Like no, your great granddaddy needed to be there for everybody to like have this in their DNA. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
And God forbid he got sold to Nebraska, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And your mama went
That's
to
real.
Tallahassee, and now everybody's divided, and now in your DNA, division is in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? All the way down. It's not gonna it won't change until somebody changes it.
Right. And
if you're not aware, how are you gonna make the change?
And that shit is so embedded in us that we don't realize the importance of that. So like even go back to Jason Whitlock who said it's because they dad ain't in the house. It's deeper than just that statement.
Yeah, it's so far. It's so far.
It goes deeper than that. It's just that he just gave you the summary, and the summary feels ugly. It feels it's hard.
You don't know why you run off.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't do it. I leave. You know what I'm saying? And man,
It just happened.
they might have been doing that for years in your family, man. Y'all leavers, man.
You think I want this?
Patterns
Patterns are so real.
I think as the time go by, though, it's gonna change because we speaking on the older children we have, or when we were children. You got to look at it in this day and age. The grandma might be 50 and the grandchild like 20. You get what I'm saying? Grandma ain't ready to do it. It's an age difference. It's a gap nowadays. So
I think it's the distractions, though.
It's not gonna pan out the same way as what we were used to.
It's gonna be what we make it.
Right.
So like you gotta pass down something good if you want to pass something down.
So
just beat the change.
So to speak to that, one of the things I've done, I think, to help our children and our grandchildren along in that area is, I know that I'm always growing and developing, right? And I try to be cognizant of it in a way that I'm able to like catch my breakthroughs. And when I do, I have a conversation with my children. I was like, hey, listen, remember when you were so and so years old and this and that happened and we had this thing like this and they went like that? And they say, yeah. I say, that taught me this, right? So, and I'm sharing this with you so that you have an opportunity to not do it the way I did it, so that you don't have to take your children through what I took you through in this area. It helps looking at it, it helps my children when I confess about what I think were bad choices. It just really changes everything, right? Because my baby girl, when we was there, you did so and so and so and so. Yeah, I did. I was wrong. I was wrong. So why don't you you don't have to do that. You don't have to be wrong too, right? So it helps because we're passing on traditions, right? We're just passing on a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, we're apologizing now. You know
Right,
what I'm saying? And
right.
in our era, our parents didn't apologize.
What?
And then,
Apologize.
then when they told us to apologize, and we like were so emotional about it, they would get upset with us.
Right.
But it's like we've been taught not to apologize by you.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you telling me to humble myself, something you don't never do.
Right.
Right.
And you wonder why I'm so fire hot right now that you want me to apologize.
Right.
I ain't never seen nobody apologize.
Right.
Crazy.
Especially you.
Right.
Yeah, you would admit I'm wrong. You don't never. You ain't never.
You don't apologize.
I'm not apologizing.
But see, when as I was older, I had to talk with my grandma because my grandma ain't never apologized, and she did a lot of great things, and she did some things that she could apologize for. You know, and a child is like the love is unconditional. They're gonna forgive you they're gonna forgive you even if you don't apologize. But you never know what kind of scar tissue they may have later on in life, or just behaviors that they learn from the fact that you do things and you never apologize.
Right.
Now you maybe got a son that's dating a woman, he don't apologize. You got a daughter that's doing things to her man, she don't apologize because that's what they know.
Right.
And
turns out they didn't forgive you, man. That's the thing. You didn't forgive your parents for that shit.
But they love you, they didn't know how to. Yeah, you're right. They didn't move forward.
Just you kept going. You didn't forgive your mom for that. You didn't forgive your grandma for that. That's because if you forgave her, y'all have to have that conversation 30 years later because it's like, hey, remember you never apologized?
No.
I held that with me.
No, I know I did forgive her, but when I just got to a point where I felt like it was just time for me to like use my voice in a like, you know, because I went around and I dropped to my knees, tears in my eyes to my grandma, and I said, you know, I apologize for I just now realizing what I put you through with me being so wild and just not coming home and going to jail. And, you know, I apologize. I'm so sorry. Now everything you said to me is starting to click.
Yeah, you was stuck.
You know, I did that to my godfather. Like, I went around on an apology tour, bro, from realizing all the things I did to people. And I said, you know, there was some things you did when I was younger that it had an effect on me. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, and she said, I was just doing the best I could. And I felt the pain all in her soul when she said that. But, you know, and she said, I know.
That's when you forgave her, when you told her about it.
No, the thing is, I had already forgave her about it because I had my moments of clarity from everything. But it was just like, I just wanted to have a talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to have a talk about it. I wasn't holding no grudge on my grandma, but the truth of the matter is certain things you did, I realized now that I've had my moment of clarity, how they affected me. Mm-hmm. And I just want to have a talk with you just to see where you are on these things. And she said, I know, I was just doing the best I could. She didn't say I'm sorry, but man, it was like just that moment, like I could just feel the pain and see the pain in her eyes. Like she been knew that. She just wasn't never gonna say nothing. Yeah. You feel me?
Yeah. But that's for me. That's hard. But when someone say, oh, I did the best I can, that's hard for me to accept because it's not. It's
true though.
It's not though. It's really not true. You thought
you a 50-year-old woman raising 3 kids by yourself.
Yeah, but you thought that this was the best you could do when you could have did better, and that don't mean that you wrong or you bad. That's bad.
I mean, I get that logically, but I get that, but like
no, I'm talking about. I ain't talking about Grandma Evelyn. I'm talking about in my life.
Okay, but I'm saying like my grandma was like 50 something, bro.
I was listening.
No,
she locked in. She locked in.
She didn't raise me.
She locked in. She working 3 jobs. She working 2 or 3 jobs. She not gonna pick up a book on gentle parenting and Napoleon Hill. He wasn't even around then. But you know what I'm saying? She not like, you know what? But I'm working these 3 jobs, raising these 3 kids. But let me read a book on how I can be a better grandmama. Yeah, like, man, that's dead. She going to church, praying for Jesus to fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so in a grand scheme of it, she was doing the best she could, but that's the thing. That's what's that song? But I just my best wasn't good. You know? But here we all are. Me, my little brother, my little sister. We not in jail. We all, you know, have we're making our own way. We're taking care of our children.
Right.
You know, so that, you know, what she did was great.
Right.
There were just times where, like I said, she was only in the house by herself.
Right.
It wasn't a positive male role model there, or somebody that was even closer to our generation. Mm-hmm. We talking about a huge generation gap. Mm-hmm. Then when I found out how she was raised by her grandma, so truth be told, she really did the best she could. When we look back, man, a lot of things we was doing the best we could with what we knew at that time. Yeah. Now that we can look back in hindsight, always gonna be 2020. But I'm looking back like, dang, could I have handled that differently? And I'm running back in my mind like, no, bro, that's exactly how I was gonna handle that, bro, at that time. It's just what it was, bro.
You very compassionate, and I respect it. But
I mean, it's a compass. That's how you navigate, bro.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But the truth is, you could have did better.
The truth is,
it's like
coulda, woulda, shoulda. But she was doing the best she could.
That's like they say, ignorance of the law is no excuse.
What she had, she forgot to say.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse. You fucked me, and I'm okay. I get it. You didn't mean to. It wasn't done with malice. But I'm letting you know that this is how this affected me. I'm not blaming you. I can understand your circumstances. I can understand the variables that made it this way. And that's fine. That's the whole thing is the whole thing is I'm not. If you taking me saying that you did this and this affected me this way, because the thing is, it don't matter what. Like if you kill somebody. It don't matter why you killed them. You have to do some kind of retribution for that killing. So even if it was manslaughter, you still got to do some time. So you could be like, I didn't mean to. I've been up all day. Probably shouldn't have been driving, but I did drive. Well, 18 months. It may just be 18 months for a life, but you doing something. I can't just be like, hey, you must have had your reasons, because that don't bring nobody back.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so it was damn Ed Reed, damn Jason Whitlock, god damn LeBron James is now the NBA score leader scorer.
He's not no GOAT. The internet, man.
Michael Jackson had 6 rings.
I mean, what we witnessing. So I had made a post on IG and I seen that it didn't even go through. But I was like, is a question can be made? Is LeBron James the greatest athlete ever? Like, have we ever seen 20 years of I'm at the top of the game for? And we can say 20 years, but really it's longer than 20 years. 20 years just his NBA career.
Right.
This man has been in the top of this sport since back when he had the tattoos covered up at St. Vincent St. Mary. I don't have any footage before then, but I'm sure
he played.
We talking about 30 years of this man been in the top 5 of this sport.
He's not the greatest athlete ever though.
Who could we say who has had 20 stellar years of being at the peak of athleticism in one sport?
I'm gonna tell you, Caitlyn Jenner won.
She
won the triathlon, the men's triathlon. She won the men's triathlon, Jason. Don't you get it?
What do y'all get, Black?
Don't you see you can Google that shit.
Ooh, he said
the men's. She won the men's triathlon.
So
learn to co-parent people.
because I mean, and we know eras change and athleticism changes. Like now in the NBA, if there's 10 people on the court, probably like 8 of those players can do a 360 windmill. Like this is it. What? 6 of them?
9 of them.
Not even.
For sure. I mean, we talking about greatest of all time, man. I think it just makes good conversation.
That's
it just makes good conversation. Some people say, well, you got to have a ring, and then some people say, well, you know, it's points and
You ask 10 people, you're gonna get 5 different answers.
Yes. So I don't know. If there's an argument. For me, right,
20 years of being in the top.
He wouldn't have been able to do anything. He wouldn't have been able to do all that against Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman would have locked his ass up.
I mean, I don't think
That's
so.
what people can say.
I don't think so.
I don't believe that to be so, but
no,
people can make that argument.
No, you ever see LeBron coming downhill?
But this is my point.
Dennis Rodman put somebody in
We
the
talking
stands.
about 2 steps from the 3-point line to the
Dennis would make him swing.
But
he'll foul him, but LeBron gonna cry about the foul.
What I hate is for when an athlete to achieve something or accomplish something, and we have to immediately go to GOAT, and B, we have to compare them to people that played years and years ago. And it's like an endless debate or conversation, and all it ends up doing is hurting the person that just got the achievement.
Yeah,
like, you have to end up
so salty, bro. It's salty business.
That's really what it is.
But
that's sports, man. That's sports, though.
That's not a congratulations.
Sports is the whole excitement of sports is the hyperbole.
Competitive.
It's the exaggeration. It's the things you can't really measure.
But there are some darlings that they don't do that to.
Who? Where?
Like Jordan, Brady. It ain't got no black or white component to it.
They do though, because now they compare LeBron. Or back in Jordan day they was comparing him to Kareem.
I don't think Brady's the greatest player.
That's not.
And the fact still remain that Caitlyn Jenner won the male decathlon.
That was Bruce.
You don't see Caitlyn?
Yes.
That was Bruce.
You don't see Caitlyn?
That was Bruce.
Y'all don't see Caitlyn?
That was Bruce.
Who was that?
Y'all don't see Caitlyn. That's
Well,
part of your
Caitlyn was
problem.
always a part of it.
That's part of your
Caitlyn was always a part of it.
That was when his pronouns were he,
He's
him.
always there.
That's when he had he, him pronouns.
What?
That's when he had.
That's when he had he, him pro. Oh, she.
That's when she had.
Yeah.
He, him pronoun.
There we go. But he was he then.
This is so confusing now.
She was he then?
He's on first.
Who's on first?
He, him. That was when he was a he, him.
But seriously though, this
Assist heck man.
Ma'am, sir.
Assist heck man.
Ma'am, sir. Sir, ma'am.
A cisgender heterosexual man.
Chicken flavor.
We are all cis het men.
No, I ain't no cis. I ain't no cis nothing.
We are all born males who identify as male.
Who's on third?
Who's on first?
Damn, sir, you look like you're millionaire.
Man, it's a whole new world out. It's a whole new world out here, man. It's a whole new world out here, but that's the thing I say. The GOAT thing, because Will, Kareem, all of these people are larger than life. You know what I'm saying? So, but I would say that I, in my lifetime, have never seen one person have 20 years of excellence, bro, in the sport.
I think it's safe to say. I mean, I know he's the greatest athlete of my time. He's the greatest athlete or player in my time in the sport.
I watched his first game.
Yeah.
I was like locked in. They played against the Kings. He had like 21 points, and the hype was just so big. And
His first summer league game was actually in Orlando. I saw him at the summer league. And I felt like he had the biggest legs that I have ever seen. That's what I will always remember. I was like, his calf was like this, bro. Yeah.
I was like,
17,
what? 18. He was 18. I was like, what is this? It was him, Dwayne Wade, and T.J. Ford.
But you know what's crazy though? And
he got hurt, man.
And maybe 10, maybe 15, maybe 20, maybe 30 years, there'll be somebody who's twice his size. That's how crazy it is.
Yeah, Zion is almost.
Look at Wembanyama, bro.
Wembanyama, what, 7'3"?
And Jit got a bag.
He's like 7'4", 7'5".
Yeah, he's so.
With a back, I'm talking about with a step back as he got.
So in 20, 30 years, everybody will look like that.
It's evolution, but I don't know.
But he's a generational
say that though.
Yeah.
You can't really say.
Where they scored 38,000 points.
You can't. Nobody saw Karl Malone playing like Magic Johnson. That's what LeBron is. Yeah. So imagine in 20 years, 30 years.
20 years. How many people?
Evolution not always the answer.
I
Like
just
I
was
said, I'm
trying
a
to think of
huge
some
Wilt
people,
Chamberlain
man. I
guy.
don't know.
There's never been an athlete in the history of sports like Wilt Chamberlain. It just hasn't been.
Says who?
He's 7'1". He's faster than any center in the league now. He jumps higher than any center in the league now. He's stronger than any center that's ever played.
You went to one of his games?
He was stronger than Shaq.
This is research and
He was stronger than
documented.
Shaq.
He's the strongest center. He was in the strongest man competition in the entire.
But he was, come on, man.
He represented for the United States.
All those
Ben Wallace is the
Ah,
second
but Shaq diesel.
Yeah, Shaq's still 7'1", 40
Shaq
pounds.
was fairly strong, but Ben Wallace.
They had
Ben
the
Wallace
Shaq
was second
proof every goal in the NBA.
But that was just weight, though.
Yeah, but he couldn't
Yeah.
move.
Dennis Rodman to pick all that shit up.
But do you see, bro, they also changed the rules of offensive fouls because of Shaq. Like, he was just punishing people with his strength.
Yeah, he was.
He like, well, I'm just backing up. The ref like, you can't back up, Shaq.
But he couldn't back up against Dennis Rodman. I mean, no, I'm not.
I mean, this ref probably gonna rub your balls underneath your
Yeah. No, but Rudy leaving that part out, bro.
But
Rudy leaving that part out.
he was probably the best defender the NBA ever had.
Dennis Rodman said he didn't.
He was
didn't
real
brush
strong.
his
He was
teeth.
strong as
He
hell.
didn't brush his teeth. He didn't like shower.
Yeah.
Like he made himself the most menacing person.
Yeah.
Like he was gonna
They
that
said
night
that man
with you.
was killing Hennessy at halftime.
That night
Killed
of
the
Dennis
whole bottle,
Rodman
go out
guarding
there
you was gonna be the
hurt
worst
somebody.
night of your life.
Yeah.
He's gonna say sexually suggestive things to you all night. Like Karl Malone hated Dennis Rodman before the things he would say to this man during the game.
Yeah, people said the worst. They say he was the worst.
He probably gonna sneak a touch on you. The ref can't see.
He's not gonna sneak it.
But it's just gonna be to get in your head, like.
And he reaching all the way around, cuffing, and he trying to.
And when you
all the way.
get teched up, you know, you like, but this guy, but the ref
And
ain't
then he
see
blow a
it.
kiss at
He
you.
a veteran.
Why he getting the tech?
You just clap and walk back down on it.
And at the same time, he was scrapping it. So you ain't just finna.
Yeah, but that.
You ain't just finna.
He kind of want to fight anyway.
He kind of want to fight anyway.
Hey, but I mean, but
You gonna hold out the whole game? All right.
that's why you can't. That's why you can't compare eras though. Like you compare, you comparing like Wilt.
Yeah, that
like
one shot.
like back. Wilt was strong and fast, but he was literally playing against people.
That's not.
But Will score 40 a night right
That's
now.
a fact.
Will score drop 40 a night right now.
No, he wouldn't, man.
Yes, he would.
No, he would not, man.
But that's
Who
the
gonna
thing
stop
about
Will?
debate. That's the
Who
thing
gonna
about
stop Will
sports.
Chamberlain?
Yo, Wilt was playing white dudes,
That's
bro.
not true.
But I'm saying right now,
That's
who
a
would stop
fact.
Will
A
Chamberlain?
dude, I'm gonna tell you something real quick. A dude said he had a little Facebook argument. I just for the jokes of it, I said Will Chamberlain's the greatest player of all time. He is my favorite player of all time, but I wouldn't put him as greatest. But anyway, he was like, "Oh, he only played against short white dudes." So I said, "Okay, tell me how many black centers it is right now." And I'm gonna give you the whole whatever African descent. He don't have to be black. How many black centers it is in the league right now? That's over 6'10". I gave him 6'10". Okay, you know how many it is? I did the research. You don't got to Google, but all you need is Google.com. There are
Less than
7.
5. Oh, 7?
There are hold on. Now, how many black centers do you think? I'm telling no African descent, just straight African American. And Wilt Chamberlain, let's ask him a question.
That's fine.
There's over 6'11". I'm gonna give you that.
Bubba,
how many?
Bubba, that's fine.
Wait, he just said as much as short white dudes. It might be one. You might be right.
You won't let me answer at all, Bethune.
Okay,
listen, man.
Down bag is crazy, man. I just don't know
how many do you think it was?
Listen, bro. The game is completely different than when Wilt Chamberlain played, where everybody is skilled. So yeah, it might be people that was as tall as him, but there weren't anybody who was as skilled. Where everybody dribble with their right hand or they dribble with their left hand, not both.
Kareem wasn't skilled.
That's it. If I'm playing 12th graders, Of all playing 12-year-olds, I'm gonna whoop their ass.
This is not
How
12
many
years
still black centers in the
But
league
it's
right
not
now
their
today?
fault, bro, that they were like
How many?
ahead of everyone
Outside of Joel
else.
Embiid.
It's not their fault. It's really not. But to not acknowledge that they were light years ahead of their competition.
How many
is
still
false.
black centers in the league right now today? That's the main thing Shaq talk about all the time. Shaq think he'll average 50 right now.
But look
Ain't
at
no
this point.
centers
If they
in the
were
league.
light years ahead, then that means that they'll be present now.
Yeah, so and they'd average 20 and 18 and have a
Nah,
they
not
have a
Will
great
Chamberlain,
career.
bro.
Yes, man.
Or do the Wagner and Carter from here.
Oh my God, bro.
Jokic.
Will Chamberlain will be Rudy Gobert.
Look what the Dream was doing. Look what Hakeem was doing.
That man agreed for that.
Look what Hakeem was
Rudy
doing,
Gobert.
bro.
Man, it's crazy.
Yeah, Will Chamberlain was big as hell, bro.
Man, he do it. He know what he doing.
Yeah,
He
Just
do
on
it.
size and speed alone.
He doing what he do.
The man was running faster than Dwight. Like,
But
that's
it's to be
crazy.
seen. But yeah, he was.
Yeah, but-
that man was a
Jumping like Blake Griffin. Like these are like I'm talking about. These are measurables. The man was in track and field and
Left hand, right hand.
strongest man competition. The
Right.
man was about to box Ali. Like
But guess what? There's players who have the
He
same
boxed
metric.
him.
they don't.
They don't.
He boxed him.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
That ain't fair though. They're like this big, man.
That's what it looked like too. That's what it looked like.
Nah, but shout out LeBron.
But shout out to LeBron for sure.
Yeah, shout out
LeBron
LeBron.
did
He doesn't even show
Congrats
any
on that.
type of. He isn't even showing any type of decline athletically.
That's PEDs though, for sure.
I mean, I mean,
Say you don't like him, bro.
Now they don't. Hey, the facts are facts, man. They don't just
What they trying to hit him with a few
You
years
don't gotta
ago,
do
that
this,
go-
bro.
But
You
he's
can
also-
just come out in the
but-
early and be like, I don't really like this nigga.
They don't.
but he's also the first athlete to ever spend $1.5 million
Oh, yeah, on his body.
on his body and cryogenically freeze his body after games and all kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, PEDs. They don't test for PEDs in the NBA. I don't know if y'all knew that. They don't test for PEDs.
Look, your boy Donovan Mitchell, after he dropped 71, they tested him the next morning.
Yeah.
No, you're allowed to do PEDs in the NBA.
No, you're not.
Yes, you are. Man.
They drug tested that man the next morning after he dropped him 71 points,
Don't
bro.
listen
The
to
next
Brad.
morning,
Don't
listen.
we need to see.
For weed.
Nah, weed don't make you drop
Weed ain't the way,
71.
yeah.
And they clear weed, man, because they know everybody
Yeah.
smoke weed in the NBA.
Yeah,
They
NBA
clear
weed.
weed.
Yeah, in the last bargaining agreement.
Those guys, Wilt Chamberlain, those guys was on methamphetamine. Wilt Chamberlain died at 36 years old, bro. He was 36 or something like, yeah, heart attack and that shit.
So did
Like,
my Murray out Thursday.
huh? Yeah, because they was just living life reckless. Methamphetamine, the cocaine, and
2,000 women to do that too.
I was about to say, that had a lot to do with it.
Wilt Chamberlain had a full-time job. He did cocaine. He played on the weekends, bro. This is different. This is different life.
Well,
man.
the full-time job sleep with all women.
That's so real.
Wilt Chamberlain was like a foreman or some
Passing
shit,
it
man.
out.
That's everybody had regular jobs and shit. That's not the
Can't
same
live
NBA.
long.
And when
Man,
I was
he got
playing,
36 for real?
okay, I actually got
That's
it.
crazy.
Nah,
I
he was like.
have a Wilt Chamberlain story.
You met Wilt Chamberlain.
No, I said I have a Wilt Chamberlain story.
Y'all tag team something.
Black is crazy.
But before you was married.
Before you was there.
Before I was married, I was stationed in Hickam Air Force Base, Hawaii, Honolulu. Wilt had there was this thing that he had a house on the island, which was common because Lionel had one, Michael Jackson had one. Anyway, young lady I was talking to, she had just got on the base. I'm working. We engaged in conversation, and we done got to the point where we were getting ready to be intimate. So we had plans to go out, have a good time, and then it was going to be what it was going to be. She broke my date.
You
She
and
broke
Wilt.
the- she
You and
broke the
Wilt.
date. She
Y'all
broke the
Eskimos.
date. Told me that she was on the beach. She broke the date. She broke the date. Told me that while she was on the beach earlier that day, she saw Wilt and he asked her out.
Never gonna get her back.
You know what happened that night? You know what happened that
When that
night?
life force went out.
She got
Can't
slayed,
even
boy.
be mad at that though.
No, I wasn't.
Can't be mad
I
at
wasn't.
that.
I wasn't. I said, all right.
At least she was honest though.
All right.
Y'all was almost Eskimo brothers, man.
You gotta tell her, all right, be careful.
These days ain't that type of honesty. You know what they say? Oh, I fell asleep. I fell asleep last night. I fell asleep last night.
Put you to sleep.
I'm sorry.
I always.
Chicks never answer shit like that.
For me, I move pretty honest, so it was always easy to be honest with you.
Right.
Yeah. So, but okay. So the topic now. So our topic is who's to blame for toxic black masculinity?
You know, they call it wounded. They call it wounded. Wounded now.
Yeah.
They say it's more PC.
Yeah. They want, you know, because it's not cool to actually use the language, right? So,
I mean, but the toxicity is a result of a wound.
yeah, it's poison. Toxic poison, right? So when
Anything that's not nutritious.
Cause like if you don't, a wound will become septic, right? You know, it become infected. You know, if it's not treated. You know what I'm saying?
I was so when it wasn't made in the Jason Whitlock comment about I'm not sure how to pronounce the chief of police first name, but last name is Davis. So that attack, right, where he blamed her, right? But I really didn't have, initially I didn't have a thing with the conversation, but I just knew that there were some things that I wanted to talk about, which we talked about. And then I looked at it and I said, wait a minute, everything we're talking about can be tied to toxic behavior, like how Ed Reed behaved, right? Jason Whitlock's comment, the fact that he would say that, right? You know, not that it, you know, because we're not talking about, we don't know what it is. The viral phrase from Jeff Brown, used to be a co-host on the Zoe show. Jeff Brown would say, I can't tell you what it is, but I can tell you what it looks like. Right? And it looks like, right, so a lot of this behavior is toxic. Anyway, so there's so much that we don't know, and we're in the way this thing works in the world is we're real good and we're real good at being quick and making judgments about something we know absolutely nothing about. Right? So I saw the footage. Right? Now, what was interesting is because I look at stuff and I read stuff basically so that I have a frame of reference when we get to having a conversation. So my wife was in a very sensitive place, right? So me talking about what happened to Tyree Nichols would upset her. If she saw that I was looking at it, she would get upset. She was in a very sensitive place. So, and generally when I'm like getting prepared, I bounce almost everything off of her, right? Not knowing what I want to do with the information, but just talking. And we couldn't even have conversation, right? So I was like, man, how are we gonna talk about this? And she said, I'll be all right by the time we get to the show. I'm like, okay, well, because I don't want you sitting over here to the side producing, and we can't do this. Then it hit me. So we just ask the question: who's to blame for toxic black masculinity? So now you got to know what masculinity is, and you got to know what toxic is, right? There's a transgender woman. I apologize. I'm forgetting this. I'm forgetting their name. Right. First name is Raylan.
Her name.
Raylan. It's a doctor.
Her name.
Raylan. Was Robert W. Raylan W. R.W. I'm forgetting the last name. Was a professor out of Australia who wrote a book called Masculinities. And
the transgender person wrote a book called Masculinities?
Yes. Yes. And in the book,
she would know.
And in her work, she said that black masculinity, compared to all others, was the best example of masculinity that works well for both men and women. because as we adopted our way, based upon our relationship with white supremacy. So we didn't want to be like them, right? And this is me just paraphrasing. We didn't want to be like them, so we made adjustments, and the adjustments that we made our form of masculinity more comparable and complementary with black women, which I found interesting, because as it was pointed out earlier, that when we talk about black masculinity and it being toxic, the talking points that are used to say that we are this bad thing are not us, right? It's someone else. And then and this is something I found when I talked to a few women I talked to in corporate America. The black men that they encounter, right, where they have issues with, behave like their white counterparts. They have more in common with their white counterparts in corporate America than they do black men. So you mad at the black men that behave more like the white man, and you blame, and then you punish the black man who don't behave like the white man. Isn't that interesting? So again, the question: who's to blame? And
this gets back to like checking people though, right? Like it's somebody else. We really haven't had no meaning about, like, nobody can check them, but they don't get checked. You know what I'm saying? So,
and when people don't get checked, it
gets out of hand.
It can get out of hand real quick.
It is out of hand. If nobody checked them, yeah, they're definitely out of hand.
I can't say who's responsible for it. I can't say who's to blame. But I can say that black men are not to blame. I feel confident when I say black men are not to blame and black women are not to blame, because we're in a war zone. And both, individually, apart and together, we're fighting in this war for survival and believe it or not, to be together. But those forces that are in play, you gotta say, somebody used to say, my grandmother would say, the devil is really good at his job. Right? To say, so you gotta be better at yours. And I think when we're having conversations like this and we're wanting to move toward each other, society has put so many things in the way that becomes a barrier. It's actually easier to just fall back on the narrative that society has given us to so that we actually do the work to be together, than actually forget what society is saying and actually work to be together. So, who's to blame? I don't know.
Society. Yeah, blame society. It's like it's a multitude of things that brought us to this.
It's ignorance, man.
No
Ignorance is ignorance is the hell no, ignorance thing, but only if you like living in a fantasy world, you know what I'm saying? That's,
or if you want to head towards destruction.
Not reality, but I don't think nobody wants to head to destruction. I think some people just trying to cope, but it's just not being aware, not knowing. You're doing these things because it's like, okay, in the quote in the Bible, forgive them for they know not what they do. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, if you really knew what you was doing, you wouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? In a lot of instances. Maybe there's some people out there that is malicious or whatever.
I think, well, in my experience, and again, my experience, I'm seeing it differently. So, because I can say so I'm having a conversation. Let's say I'm having a conversation with a sister, and she's made it known that she's a feminist and she's proud. She's a proud feminist, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then we'll have conversations about, and we're compartmentalizing certain aspects of how she moves in this world. and I will say, you got 3 sons. When you do that, with you thinking the way you think, and about men, how does that thinking? How do you not parent that energy into your 3 boys? Because what my concern is that the ideology that you're holding on to means more to you than you creating an environment, a better or more loving environment for your sons. All I'm asking is that you just look at that. I have had to say that more times than I would like to. How do you not parent that into your sons? And I have yet gotten an answer, but it's a question that I've asked, and I think I'm going to have to keep asking that question.
And that comes back to what I'm saying, because it's like, with a lot of these movements, they only leaning towards a particular part of the puzzle. You know what I'm saying? So that's like ignorance, because if you're only focusing on this, then all of this is going to get neglected. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Just naturally. If I'm only focused on what men got going on, then that means that I'm going to miss, you know what I'm saying, what's going on with women.
Right.
So therefore, it's not going to be whole. It's not going to be balanced.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm so busy over here fighting for this and for us, and we go through this, and we're marginalized like this and this and that.
You can't come to a real solution without addressing it all.
Yeah, because there's no way. This is the beauty of this. This is the beauty of the divisive scheme.
That's the design.
Because you got these people over here saying, "What about us?" And these people saying, "Look what goes on with us." And these people saying, "Look what goes on with us." And people saying, "Okay, we gonna get to y'all group." Like you might have some black people saying, "All right, LGBT, we gonna get to that, but we gotta take care of this first because we gotta get out. We in line. We first in line." And it's like, man, if that's the case, man, everybody's in fucking line.
Now it's like each title is jockeying for who's first.
But is it really? What's the reality?
Like, you gotta be black first.
Black people,
you gotta be a woman first.
Here you go,
you gotta
y'all.
be this first. You gotta be that first.
Public apology,
that's
reparations, land. Okay, now LGBT
Right.
community. Come up to the front of the line. You know,
No,
these are not
make this
realistic.
priority list,
These
man.
are not realistic things.
Hey, but
man.
if the LGBTQ community get land, then I'm going to riot.
You got your picket sign there.
No, but in reality, that's the design is the answer to the question is the separation is the root of the problem, and the separation is by design. Yeah. So like as long as we arguing about who has the worst plight, or what men got to go through, or women got to go through, or gay people got to go through, what trans got to go through, or no, I'm cis, or call me by her because that's what I did. Like as long as we do that, then we gonna fight those battles that are like separate and divided. And so we just gonna defeat one battle, or we just gonna have these internal battles that can't be defeated, and then we're not gonna tackle the actual problem. So separation is by design. It's intricate and it's simple at the same time.
That's why I say I always say the people who created this social construct, going way back, even pre-slavery, it's
brilliant.
It was so brilliant, and it's like I wanted to sometimes do like them, or like whatever the descendants wish that they had it was a name on that, because they're the most brilliant and the most brilliant people to ever fucking walk the face of the earth.
That's the trick,
not
though.
Jesus who died at 33.
That's the trick, and it ain't no name.
But that's the quote. Yeah, that's the quote, right? The greatest trick the devil ever did was convince people that he don't exist or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's the trick of the whole thing, and it goes back to what Black was saying earlier. Ignorance is no excuse for the law. So while y'all all out there bickering about these little pieces of the puzzle, ignorance is no excuse for the law. So natural law, unfortunately, you emotionally invested in that, and it is valid, but you missing the bigger picture of natural law and how everything works together, from the water to the wind to the sun to the, You know what I'm saying? So, and ignorance is no excuse for that. So, you're going to get a speedy trial and you're going to get the same verdict. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to keep happening until you
learn from your lesson.
Yeah.
Open your, you know what I'm saying? Realize that the whole is more important than your group. Not saying that your group is not important, but wouldn't your group get more, wouldn't your group be embraced more if it was a unit, if there was actually a full unit of people together, you know, like the Black Panthers and what they was accomplishing in their communities and things like that, to the point where they really became public enemy number one because they were like feeding kids in the morning and protecting streets and keeping women safe and learning the law, you know what I'm saying, and carrying weapons legally.
Don't learn the law.
You know what I'm saying? Because now they didn't have no, ignorance was no longer an excuse for the law, bro. They wasn't ignorant. So to me, that's the, at the end of the day, yeah, we can trace it back to this, trace it back to this, trace it back to this, but all of those things got put in place just to keep you ignorant.
Right. I heard this guy who, I think he did like 20 or 30 years in prison, and he said that for the first half of his time in prison, he was thinking about what he could have did different to not get caught.
Wow.
And then once he started to think about not if he should, that he should not have ever did that at all, then the fight began to get out. So like if it take you 10 years to be like, no, I'm thinking about this all wrong, and then start thinking about the right way, and then it takes you 10 years to put the work in just to get out, and then getting out, and then rematriculating into society is a whole nother journey. So that's what we dealing with. First, figuring out the problem, figuring out how to get out of the problem, and then reversing or like rectifying all the remnants of the problem to begin with. So that's a whole nother fucking prison.
Oh. It's a lot, bro. Cause it's like, say, okay, you want me to, I want to be called this, you don't want to call me that. Okay, well, can we agree that we both need health care? But it's like, nah, because if you ain't going to call me that, then you don't see me. So therefore, we can't agree on nothing. And that's the construct, bro, and it's beautiful, bro. Because you can't say that's not valid.
Right.
You can't say it's not valid because it's all subjective. It's a collective that's built off of a bunch of subjectives. Right. So it's like, man, you better, I don't know, man. Shout out to whatever, man.
It's a brilliant design, man.
I ain't waiting on everybody to come together and hold hands, cause I just get it, man.
Feasible.
Yeah, you want that? You may want this. I don't agree with you. But when you look at groups that are in power and that are united, they do not agree on everything.
Right.
They don't argue about it publicly.
Nope.
They don't condemn or shame each other publicly.
Nope.
They have a sit down and they talk about it there. They litigate and they lobby and they settle in litigation with who got the most money and power.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or either they just agree to disagree. Shout out to Jus'Black, you know what I'm saying? Agree to disagree, segment going. And they okay, what collectively do we all want even though we don't agree on this?
Yeah, in layman's term, they just let the main thing be the main thing.
I like that.
That's it.
So until I feel like with what I see, until we're in a place where the most important thing is gonna be like that we have each other, then you know it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Unfortunately. And I mean, as you can see, these flags and these situations that keep happening, and at the same time, it looks like things getting worse, but at the same time, everything's always moving forward no matter what. There's no rewind button on this. Mm-hmm. So this is what we choosing that will eventually bring us together. That's how I see it.
Man. All right, this is a good one.
Bubba stayed the whole time. This must have been a great conversation, man. You ain't had no scallywags or nothing, man. Lined up.
Yeah, she don't get out till 3.
Nice Nice ship.
Okay, so I want to thank everybody. And before we get out of here, I want to say Sunday, March 5th, here at Exclusive Cuts, home of the Woodwall Show, we're having Mimi's Twisted Pop-Up. We're going to have, it's going to be a unique experience, right? We're going to have, part of the itinerary is we're going to have a conversation. It's going to be an all-women's panel. And Crystal's going to be on the panel.
Yeah,
Crystal's going to be on the panel.
Don't apply yet, because we got to show up.
Crystal's going to be on the panel. Crystal's going to be on the panel. And the topic for that one is, what do women want? We have, I think,
That's just one day they gonna do that.
In my head, I'm like, that's a big one.
We play DMX for that.
What they really want.
You gonna be all kind of
What's funny, I had it in my head. I did have it in my head as a song.
You gonna be all kind of pick-me's. You know, when you agree with me and you'll pick me.
What I said.
She gonna be all right. She gonna be all right. We've already made the agreement.
When you listen to men, oh, you're a pick.
Maybe it's not sometimes. No, what?
Pick me.
So now what happens is, okay, so you will be able to shop, buy you some clothes, buy some jewelry, buy you some soaps, buy you some whatever, right? We're going to have tables and chairs set outside so you can get yourself to eat off one of the food trucks, sit down and enjoy a good meal. You can walk in here and be a part of the live audience for the women's conversation. Then we're going to have Meet the Author, where we're going to some local authors going to come up here. They're going to read a few segments from their book, talk about their inspiration, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then around 4 o'clock, we're going to have an episode of the Woodwall Show. So we got a nice full day. Food trucks will be out, giving some music, some entertainment. It's going to be a good day. March 5th, Sunday, March 5th. We start at 11 o'clock and we go until about 5:30. Bubba on the bench with Bubba and Pink.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loving y'all's show, man. I'm loving it. I got to admit, I love your honesty. I was like, did he just say that on the thing? He did say that on the thing.
Too honest.
Yeah. I'm like,
Honestly, be working though. It's gonna be working.
No,
Man,
he
Pink
getting into a
fool.
lot of trouble.
yeah.
But Pink is definitely
Yeah.
a clown.
Yeah. He absolutely.
It's hilarious.
When I was on yours, I invited him over, so we gotta set that up so he can come on and join us over here. Jus'Black TV, the Arrogant Assholes. Then we got and the new one, Agree to Disagree.
Agree to disagree.
Agree to Disagree.
It's a podcast where I'm just right. You know what I mean? I'm just right on this podcast, and my girl's on there, and I just agree that she's wrong. That's what it's all about.
Okay.
This is where you need balance. This is what this is about tonight. Balance.
No, I have watched the episodes and I really enjoy it. I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's real dope.
Yeah, I know both of you, and watch it. So I like watching how it play out, right? Because y'all you really being yourselves.
Yeah, it's not scripted at all.
Right. I mean, you really being yourselves, and you talk and you talking the way you talk. Like when I was like, oh, somebody just got checked. right. But it's really loving the way y'all are managing it, right? So I was pleasantly surprised to actually hear you say you love him.
Mm-hmm.
In the first episode, I was like,
I'm surprised.
no. I'm just saying, because I don't get to see that side of Black.
Oh.
You get to see that side of Black. I don't get to see. I get to see the side of Black that sit up here and say, Caitlyn and Jenna, Caitlyn and Jenna wanted to get the right. So I figure he does love, right? Because I know enough about him to know that he does love, right? So but yeah, so check out Bubba, come out and check us out at the Wood Wall. Check out Jus'Black. Jason, what you got coming up?
Even if it's yourself.
Nothing. I don't know. I'm chilling.
You been back in the studio, all right?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
No.
When Jay Sunday's coming back?
I've been actually like getting a lot of things. I've actually been getting a lot of things done. I just ain't been talking about it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I don't see no need to talk about it at this point in my life.
Okay.
What about Jay Sunday?
It's coming back, bro.
Okay.
I mean, I ain't gonna never start creating, but yeah, it's definitely coming back.
That is like too much to give free out like every single Sunday.
Nah, I'm definitely not gonna be doing it every Sunday. You know what I'm saying? You know,
like,
at one point I was going.
you was going hard.
Yeah.
Like too much.
I was going real hard on it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still writing and stuff like that. You know, I got, you know. Yeah, man. Yeah.
You should have guest spots on this Sunday. Bring back J. Raw.
I bring you on there.
It's gonna cost you.
It's gonna cost you.
All right.
He wanted to say bring J. Rob. Where the money, man?
Okay, so Jus'Black. What you got?
I just want to thank those who were watching that were not in attendance in the building, and those who joined us in the chat. I just want to shout out Charles Carr, Yaniqua, Trey King. They made comments in the chat. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Everybody go to Jus'Black TV, subscribe. On the Bench with Bubba, subscribe. Brotherhood, Manhood, Fatherhood, subscribe. We appreciate y'all. Love you. Jus'Black, Jason, J. Rome, Mr. Haircut Man, Deb Smith, and I'm Coach Baruti. We're out. Thank you.
Just remember, women comes from our real, because they supposed to be on the side. They supposed to be down. I saw that somewhere.
Yeah. I saw it too.
You saw that?
I saw it too.
Because they supposed to be on the side, and, you know what I'm saying?
The man
Not lower, but like
beneath our heart.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Beneath our heart.
the way they said, they're trying to make it sound real woke.